Morning, Jared.
Twinkles is in Western Australia. Welcome, Twinkles.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
More big moments.
To Gully, he grapples with Begley. Oh, that's astounding!
He's edged and he's out. Kawaja takes the catch at first slip, and the king is dethroned by the goats.
The legend.
30 seconds. Anybody there? Hello.
Next Super Bowl win.
This is your town. This is your station. This is Waitley on SEN.
Hello there. Anybody there?
G'day, Nigel.
Hey, Nigel.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, here we go.
Thanks, mate.
Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Okay, I'm going to put the mics on now. And go.
Welcome out to Wally Chew Reserve. It's EFL Game Day right here on SEN Plus 1377, the only place to get your local metropolitan football action in the best competition in the league, which is the Eastern Football League. It is Ferntree Gully hosting South Belgrave this afternoon. It is 1v2. We absolutely can't wait. My name is Ben Warren Smith. I'll be right here throughout the afternoon on the broadcast team, along with two gentlemen who are going to join me on the pre-match show as we look in depth at what's going to happen out here on the park today and how these two sides' season has panned out so far. And of course, we also have a look at and give our opinions on the other 21 great games as you go local for your football on this okay-ish type June day in winter. Introducing the team, Brett Davison, ride shotgun every single week, the special comments man of the Eastern Football League. How are you, Davo?
Good, BWS. Feeling really enthused about seeing what's going to happen in this top of the table clash here at the foot of the Dandenongs. Yes, it's a bit overcast. The ground's got a little bit of wear and tear to it. We've had a lot of rain this week out here, but it's still in very good condition. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how good are South Belgrave and what's Ferntree Gully going to be able to dish up, because they've had a bit of an all over the sort of place season to start off with. But looking forward to a good game.
And of course, another welcome to the other member of the pre-match show, which is Tim Fitzsimons, who'll be working on social media and our Around the Grounds man right throughout the afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Tim.
Thanks, BWS. As Davo said, really excited for this one. It's going to be interesting because Ferntree Gully, they're sitting second. They're 6-1, but we haven't really, spoken about them much because South Belgrave have just been that dominant this season so far, and second time already that they're facing each other, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
It is that case though, isn't it? Because watching week in, week out, and the way that South Belgrave have started off the year and having beaten Ferntree Gully in the first round as well, but even against Warrandyte and these other close top four sides that they're playing against, they've been putting them away as well. So they're the standout side. But then all of a sudden, 6-1, Ferntree Gully, that actually has to be acknowledged as well, because on any other given day, we'd be talking them up massively. But the fact is, they've got the South Belgrave factor on them.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think that's the issue at the moment, is that you see South Belgrave and you look at the side they roll out with today, and there's still 4 or 5 players missing. They've got 2 guys in emergencies that are walk-up starts in most teams in
absolutely
top and Stowe. And but Ferntree Gully is starting to get their players back. You know, they had a lot of injuries, I think, at the start of the year. They wound their way into the competition and into the season. And look, they would expect, they're playing on their home deck, that they'd be able to really serve it up to South Belgrave today. For me, it's how do they stop that forward line? It's just been amazing with the amount of goals that they just get through, and yeah, they look pretty dangerous.
Well, that forward line is absolutely epic. So it'll be interesting to ask Peter Farrell about what he's got what he's got planned for that today and how he's going to set up his backline structure as well. He's just texted me, so we were going to get him on very soon. Instead, he'll be coming on in about 10 or 15 minutes. So we're going to have both coaches on the pre-match show. So we might just change things up a little bit, and we might just start having a look at the other games as Eastern Football League lovers go local for their football today, and to keep the show moving a bit, because there's plenty of time to dissect what's going to happen out here at Wally in Ferntree Gully. There is no rain. There is still plenty of room inside the ground as well. There's parking and a pretty good crowd out here as well. So get out here today if you're out in the outer eastern suburbs, the foot of the Dandenongs. Great place to be. Let's have a look at Premier Division football today, which is round 8 action. South Croydon, the Doggies, they were on a 3-game winning streak. They hit Vermont last week. They led at quarter time, and then Vermont went bang with one of the most impressive quarters of football. Probably the best 12 minutes that I've ever seen in the Eastern Football League, where they kicked 7 goals last week, put the game away and ran away with it. They take on Doncaster, which might be handy for South Croydon to bounce back here, because Doncaster, they're just really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, look, I think you look at last week, and South Croydon being done by 10 goals, and yet they've won 2 quarters, and they've won one of those quarters by 4 goals, and they've still been done by 10. And then we just got to sit back and watch the Brett Eddy show last week, and those 10 straight in that basically 2 and a bit quarters of football was something you're not going to see too often in local football. It was pretty amazing. But South Croydon, they weren't disgraced, even though they were beaten by 10 goals. They were beaten by a magnificent team. They're going to be too good for Doncaster at the Kennel, because tell you what, Doncaster, I don't know what's happening there, but something's amiss. I don't know whether it's chemistry, I don't know what it is, but I don't think they can beat South.
Well, they've got a new coach, and Stu Kemperman, who's been a fantastic footballer and leader at Noble Park, and we've loved everything about him in his playing career. So he's gone down to the club, and you get to round 7 or round 8, and you always accept that it takes a bit of time to gel to a new game plan, but I hear what you're saying. There's just something that's not what the Doncaster that we've seen of recent years, and I don't know. Maybe there is more injuries that we know, but the playing list isn't too different to what it's been.
I actually saw Doncaster last week against North Ringwood, and they were very disappointing. They were very disappointing, coming up against a side that had been belted 2 weeks in a row, and they could have lost by more, really, apart from a late quarter flurry where they kicked a few goals. They were really disappointing. Sam Caruso was very good early on half forward, but apart from that, they didn't really have any players that really stood up when it mattered. We know how good Chris Anarkis is. He was very quiet last week. I'm not sure how well he's really been playing all year, but they were very disappointing, and I can't see them getting close to South Croydon today.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, well, South Croydon to win, and I know that's a little bit long-winded, but we pumped up Doncaster for so long, so I don't want the Sharks fans out there to think like we're bagging their side, because we have been on the bandwagon for quite some time. The question marks are just out there, and wondering where the form's gone.
Oh, look, I'm a huge rep for the team. I thought I had them top 4 this year, just purely because I love the way that they played against top sides. They were always really competitive. They ground wins out. They were never out of any game whatsoever. This year, it just looked, they may have lost a couple. I think they've had a couple of injuries to key backs, which hasn't hasn't helped, I should say.
Yep.
So, yeah, look, I'm just not 100% sure what's going on. I'd like to stick with them, but I think South Croydon will be too good today.
We're sending Brad Henderson out to Mullum Reserve today because he could just jump over the fence if he's that agile, and I'm sure he's probably listening. They take on the Blackburn Football Club today, and I spoke to Brad, and he said that he's got a big feeling that Norwood might be up for the show today. What are our thoughts on this game?
Yeah, well, they get Rhett Jordan back in. They've got a few players in this week, so he comes back in. And Blackburn have made a couple of changes. Day's come out as a good young player, and Lockie Berger has come in, which, whether it's his first game, I'm not sure, but he's back. He's in the side. It's at Norwood. That's always a tough ground. They're playing okay there. Blackburn have been really good this year. I think Blackburn will be too good. I think they've got too many their tall forwards and their Otten down back is going to be a key for them. I think they'll just get over the line against Norwood.
Yeah, Blackburn for mine. We've been saying it for a long time now. We never know what Norwood is really going to show up on the day, so it's going to be. They could take it up to Blackburn, but I think Blackburn will get the job done.
I call it statement day for Norwood today against the Blackburn Football Club, because we know Blackie, their season has been sensational so far. There's no doubt about that. They've only dropped the one game. Norwood are in that logjam of sides which goes right down to 8th position, which are vying for a top 5 spot and a finals berth as well. They sit behind Noble Park in 6th position. Noble Park have got Roval today. They've got Balwyn next week in the standalone game against... I said it already out loud, didn't I? In the standalone game. On the Queen's birthday weekend game, I should say. So... it's a massive opportunity where that's 2 tough games. That's two tough games for Noble Park coming up. So for Norwood to get a win that might be unexpected today will absolutely shape the way their season could fold. So I'm tipping an upset today. Very long-winded way of coming up with my tip there. Let's move on to the next game. Old mate Ray Baird, he's out at Roval versus Noble Park at Seabeck Oval today. Speaking of Noble Park, do they have a chance today, Davo?
If it was at Noble, I think yes. I think at Roval, and look, Roval have been under pressure. They've got to perform after they had those 2 losses in a row. They came out and they beat Vermont at Roval last week. Then they had an okay win against Montrose, but up there it's not always easy to win. I think today they need to put another statement and try and put that gap between some of the sides below them. I think they'll be too good for Noble, but Noble have been impressive, good young team. But I think Noble today have got 5. They've got 5 ins, so they've made quite a few changes during the week. So that'll be interesting to see how they settle.
Yeah, it's a really big game for them. This is 4th versus 5th at the moment, but there's 2 games separating them. So a win either way is going to make a massive difference for how the season's shaping at this midway point of the year. I think Roval are just going to be too strong. They've been good for the majority of the year. We know they had 2 pretty bad hiccups, but I think they're going to be too good for Noble Park. But I have been impressed with Noble Park this season. I think they've probably outplayed everyone's expectations so far quite a bit.
I think this one's going to go down to the wire, to be perfectly honest, but I'm tipping Roval as well. I'll get on that bandwagon. North Ringwood take on Montrose out at Quamby. North Ringwood been playing okay in the last month, some pretty good football, and they've won their 2 games away from home, but it's important to win at home as well.
Yeah, and you think that Quamby is the one place that they would be able to win at, because it's the one ground that most teams don't want to go to. They've had a bit of rain, so that'll be interesting to see.
Except for the burgers, don't forget that.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm looking for our game to be out there, actually, purely for the burgers. I think this is Montrose's actual chance to get a win, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm going to stick with North Ringwood. I think they're just going to get over the line, but it would not surprise me that Montrose have built themselves up for today. North Ringwood Locko's come in, so that's a good in. Montrose Dinham's out, which is a bit of a big out for them, but I think North Ringwood will get over the line. Yeah,
North Ringwood for mine. They were pretty scrappy last week, but they got the job done away from home against Doncaster. It's still a good win. I'm going to go with North Ringwood. I'm a bit worried about Montrose with one bloke last week that was the difference was Michael Apenis. He's just so big. He was clunking everything. He was unstoppable. And Montrose are not a very tall side, so it's going to be interesting to see how they really combat his work. I think North Ringwood are going to be too strong.
They go in as favourite, and they should win based on previous form, but Montrose, as we've continuously said, they haven't won a game, but they also haven't really been blown out of the park either. So they've got that capacity to play a half, maybe sometimes 3/4 of football. This is a big opportunity for Montrose today. Can they get the job done? I think the Saints have proven in the last few weeks that they will get the chocolates.
The Montrose the best 0-7 side we've almost seen in the top division in a very long time. They haven't been blown out of the water in any games.
No,
they've been.
And look, it's not like they've gone out and recruited big or anything like that. They've gone with a lot of kids, and they've been pretty impressive. And they've lost. It was Schilling, wasn't it? Schilling left them. You put Schilling back into that side, they're a very, very different team. So it's a huge loss for them. but they've been able to be very, very competitive.
Such a big game for them today because, and it's early in the season, you don't like to talk relegation. If North Ringwood win today, it creates a gap on them. North Ringwood are safe as houses. Then it becomes that situation of the Doncaster potentially is the only other team that they need to get above to avoid that. It is huge for them today. I think this game is going to be incredibly close. The match of the round across all 5 divisions, without a shadow of a doubt, is Balwyn taking on Vermont today.
It's going to be an absolutely ripper game. Cam Manuel's out for Balwyn, but you have a look at the ins for Vermont. Just a couple of 3 okay footballers coming in Mullet, Carey and Parker. You'd be able to just slot them in somewhere, probably start them on the bench and work their way in. They've lost Bayliss, and a team that can have Robbie McComb as an emergency says something about the strength of that team with the injuries they've got. He's an emergency today after playing pretty well last week. So
he was named just to call it out, he was named in their best players and received votes from multiple members of our team calling that game last week.
And he is an emergency. So, yeah, look, it's a very, very strong side. And the one thing that Vermont are going to enjoy is they're going to enjoy the Balwyn ground because it's not too big. They play those grounds magnificently well. They're used to the football. And I think that one area that they can hurt Balwyn is just their 3-pronged attack. Just too many keys up in the forward line for Balwyn, but it should be a great game. Would really like to be there to have a look at that one, but I think Vermont will be too strong.
Yeah, Vermont for mine as well, but as you said, BWS definitely the match of the round. I would have thought of across all the divisions. It's really intriguing because Vermont, they're as good as we've ever seen them at the moment, and they're hitting their straps, and it's great to see just good football being played. So it's going to be tough for Balwyn. They've had a terrific year for the majority. They're probably in the top 3 sides of the competition, so I think it's going to be a great clash. I'm going to go Vermont, though, pretty comfortably.
Dan Sansik's out there. We'll have an around the grounds report from him. It's good when the media manager of the Eastern Football League, we send him around the grounds as well. So you're getting back amongst the people and doing the little nitty-gritty things as well.
You'd hope that we'd be getting regular score updates, wouldn't you?
Well, hashtag just saying. I'm sure he's listening at the moment. I'm tipping Vermont in this one in a very close game. Look, we're going to have our first break because coming up straight after, we're going to talk to the senior coach of the South Belgrave Football Club, Luke Galliot. Stay with us.
The Kids Edition with Daisy.
To clear 4 minutes.
On your phone while driving? Even a glance means your eyes are off the road. When you're on your phone, you're driving blind. TAC, towards zero. Breakfast with Gary and Tim. Weekdays from 6 on SEN.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles have done it again. We've smashed our everyday low prices on tile adhesives yet again. Yes, effective immediately. National Tiles Grants RB100 is just $13.75 per 20 kg bag every day of the year. This unprecedented everyday low price for RB100 at just $13.75 will save tilers thousands of dollars per year. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness. Watch the best of the best strive for championship glory.
Golden State Warriors or Toronto Raptors.
Which team will be crowned NBA champion?
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness.
For the full final schedule, team updates and game previews,
Go to NBA.com/playoffs. Listen live on NBA Now via the SEN app.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say, and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just
1 minute
when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51.
45. Did you?
Thanks,
I just
mate.
said 1 minute.
For warmer
I was
welcomes,
plugging in an
proper
extra headset.
goodbyes,
Sorry,
and
missed it.
everything in between, Melbourne Airport here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
One could argue that a head coach will never be replaced by a robot. Then again,
Do something, don't think, do.
Robot Building Supplies has everything. Steel, sleepers, wire mesh,
Robots got it.
roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Be the winning team on site for your building supply.
15.
.au or call 1300-GO-ROBOT. You'll speak with a real human.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Okay. Going to put your mic back on now.
Thanks, Nigel.
Wally Chew Reserve is the place to be this afternoon. It is round 8 action in the Eastern Football League. Division 3 styles today. It's 1v2. Ferntree Gully taking on the South Belgrave Football Club. We can't wait to watch these two sides out here. A perfect position to call the football from. And a pretty interesting game happening in the reserves as well. It's fair to give an update because it's South Belgrave leading by 7 points into this late in the game. And this is the 1v2 situation in the reserves as well, although the sides are flipped over the other way. So just keeping everybody up to date with that. But gentlemen, we're game changing here on EFL Game Day because we've managed to get both coaches on air at the same time, leading into what is one of the biggest games in Division 3. Well, it is the biggest game for Division 3 so far this year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I suppose one of the questions that I had linked up for both coaches I can't ask because I was going to talk about the opposition to them. It's pretty hard to give both of them that same question because I reckon we're not going to get too much out of them if that was the case.
Let's introduce them as well. The senior coach of the Ferntree Gully Football Club, Peter Farrell. Good afternoon to you, Pete.
Hey, boys. Thanks for having me.
It's fantastic to have you on board, mate. And, of course, Luke Galliard as well from South Belgrave. Great to chat with you as well, mate.
Thanks, boys. Yep.
Should we make them do maybe like an arm wrestle or something and see because there's going to be like that sort of clash out there today. Let's remove the giggles from the situation. It's a big game for the club. We'll start with the home side, Pete. 6-1. We were talking only just on pre-match a little while ago, and in the build-up, almost been forgotten. Such a brilliant start to the season. How dominant South Belgrave have been, but you must be absolutely thrilled with the improvement and how your sides really come about playing your game plan this year.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and that's our main objective, I suppose, is just to improve week in, week out and keep working away at what we're trying to do. And you know, we're seeing improvements. It's very incremental, but that's the main goal, and it's been pleasing to get the wins on the board through that process as well.
Mm-hmm. I suppose, Pete, one of the things we looked at was that you had an influx of players come into the group at the start of the year. You copped a few injuries early on too, and blokes starting to come back now. Are you finding that you're just starting to get the game plan and the players back playing it the way you want at the moment?
Yeah. Look, that's true what you just said. You know, we've got a few guys coming back progressively. We've still got a few out as well, obviously. So I suppose ideally you want to have 30 guys that you can call on that are able to execute the game style and the structures on any given week, because you never know what's going to happen in this game with injury. So But yeah, to answer your question, we feel like we're heading the right direction, definitely.
And I suppose getting big Danny Diezio back into the team, having been involved with him last year at Scoresby, he's one word you could say is a character. Is that the good way of putting it?
Oh, look, he's definitely a character, but he's been fantastic for us this year. His ability to communicate with the younger guys and pass on all that knowledge and experience. I mean, he's in the twilight of his career now. He's had a really decorated career. He's been great around the club with all the players, the supporters. He's a past player. He's a 4-time best and fairest winner here historically. So he's been good for me too as a coach and the other leaders and coaches around the club. So he's ticking all the boxes as well as being a character.
Can I just chime in on that?
Yep.
Diezio, you just said. Dieso, like we this is like a running thing. Like, and
I'm not sure.
Who wins the bet here?
We just call him Danny.
That's it.
We work with Danny, I think.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for nothing then.
Yeah, no, DSO I think is the way you say it. Yeah. I was going to say he's like a fifth on baller though too, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, he plays in the ruck, and he's competitive in that area. He's a beautiful user of his body, but he's actually very, very good on the ground, isn't he?
He is, and that's one of his real attributes. I think when he plays in the ruck or up forward or up back, wherever, he's his repeat effort and his ability on the ground, his game awareness is really, really solid.
Luke, the forward line for you guys has been absolutely sensational so far this year, and no doubt that's been a focus of Ferntree Gully this week and how to combat that as well. You sticking to the way that it's gone and what's worked, or are you going to change things up knowing that challenge is coming to you today?
I think if you look back to round one, Ferntree Gully at times found themselves with numbers behind the footy, and that sort of quelled us a bit. We probably would like to change the way we went about that. Hopefully we'll do that today if the same scenario occurs, I guess. But I guess you sort of see what comes at you and then you adapt and go from there. But personnel-wise, there's no change from probably the last 2 or 3 weeks. Probably with Picaro, I think we'll be in our best side, so things like that will change when he comes back. But it'll be pretty similar sort of way we go about it, I'd say. Yeah.
Luke, one of the quirks, obviously, of the 8-team comp is that you're playing Ferntree Gully 3 times, now onto the second time already. You already spoke about that round one game, how they put some numbers behind the ball. I know you probably want to give heaps away, but what's the type of stuff that you've been working on to, I guess, really combat that, since they are, at the moment, the team that's coming up behind you?
I'm happy to give away as much as, Faz is going to know what I'm going to say anyway, but, you just got to someone's got to sacrifice when that happens, I guess, and then, get numbers to the footy and transparently, I guess, trying to lower the eyes and use the ball a bit better than what we did last time, rather than, in the conditions of the night, the ball was just bombed in a fair bit and become very predictable. So, we just got to get away from that and make it more predictable to the way we want to play, I guess. So, yeah.
Being your first year as senior coach, how have you enjoyed the experience and how have you found it from being the player and having coached against you a number of times and knowing the sort of player you were? Have you taken that sort of personality and way you went about it into your coaching?
Probably not, because we'd have one of the softest footy clubs going around if they play the way I did. But no, I think you just learn, and I guess with the experience I've had at Upper Ferntree Gully, I worked with Faz there for a year or two, and with under the various coaches I've had, and probably the biggest influence I have on my footy at the moment, and the way we sort of go about it as a group is around our assistant now, which is Andrew Gibson. So definitely different to the way I played, but because it's all effort based, you know what I mean, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get that relationship with the group and the guys to buy into what you're asking them to do, and most of that is based around effort. So, yeah. And bringing in someone like Odermatt, who has been a great footballer at a number of clubs, and he's just got great experience, but he's also been an assistant coach at a few clubs as well. Yeah. Has that really helped with on-field and off-field as well? It has. I guess Lee's an assistant coach with us, and I think he'd be the first to say the balance is difficult. Lee sort of, he relies on myself and the other two assistants to, do a lot of the work on the track and even some of the planning and things like that. Lee's obviously really interested and invested in what's going on, but I think some of the smaller, finer detail stuff he's probably left to just play, if you know what I mean. So, but he's learning, and I think that's why he's here. He's come back. He wanted to work with us and get back to South Belgrave, but he wants to. He's obviously got aspirations to coach, but I think that's still a little bit down the track.
Clearly, a spray tan and haircut today, knowing it's the EFL Media Game Day.
Who's that? Me?
No.
I'm the palest man in this world, right?
No. Otis.
Yeah, no, he got a haircut the way, actually. He did. I spoke to him this morning. He said, I'm off to get me trim. But, yeah, and it probably is based around that. He'd be thinking about that stuff for sure. But, yeah.
I suppose the other thing is that both of you having been together and coached together in a different environment, now you're against each other. Do you find that you kind of like, you know a little bit about what each other's thinking in some ways? Does that influence at all the way that you coach when you're coaching against each other?
You can go that one first.
You want me to go on that one?
Yeah, I can answer after you.
Yeah, look, we probably know each other reasonably well. We've been around a lot of the same people over the last few years, trying to learn our craft as coaches, and it probably gives us a bit of an insight. We know each other fairly well personally as well, so yeah, without giving too much, we probably think we know a little bit about each other. Yeah,
I think we do. Yeah.
Peter, one of the things obviously that's really important to get the side up is the mental side of the game. Coming up against Chirnside Park last week and now South Belgrave, two pretty contrasting sides as the course of the seasons go. What's one of the key challenges of getting the group up for both type of games?
Yeah, and that's a good point, Tim. That is a challenge in itself. You know, we seen Waverley Blues play Chirnside 2 weeks ago and then play Whitehorse on the weekend and go from a 35-goal win to a 5-goal loss, I think. So there's definitely a challenge attached to that. You know, I suppose that process started before we played Chirnside Park. You know, just concentrating on our process and making sure our effort's where it needs to be, and making sure that every game's treated similarly in as much as, you know, what you need to bring to the table as a minimum. So we're always working on our standards, and so I suppose to answer the question, it probably started before Chirnside Park, that thought process mentally.
Without like bagging the condition of the ground, it's probably the most chopped up ground that we've called football at this year. And we look to the left and it looks very lush out there. Is it just the recent weather that's made it this condition?
I don't know what we've had, but we've had about 100 mil this week. It's actually
is it just very recent?
That is the first time we've seen anything that resembles a little bit of mud. It's really based on this week. St Joe's and Mazenot had a game here Wednesday night in it as well, which probably... But look, generally walking the oval, this wing's got a couple of patches, but the rest of it, if you have a wander around out there, it's still pretty firm underfoot. So I don't think it'll have any bearing on the game today.
Had been more Blue Jackets out and about early this year? Is that the case? The side's winning, so you expect that. How's the support been?
Yeah, support's always pretty solid here. You know, we're one of the biggest clubs in the AFL, so there's always a contingency. Support's been solid.
And I suppose the other question is regarding South Belgrave. They tend to travel pretty well at times, the crowd, so you're expecting a good following today as well?
Yeah, I expect so. I think Ferntree Gully, South Belgrave has been a really strong, competitive nature of used words there, rivalry. But rivalry, yeah. So, I think there'll be a fair few that rock down at 2 o'clock for sure. It is the closest team we play against in the comp. It's a funny comp for us. So, yeah, it travels minimum half an hour the way it is. It's set up at the moment, but it is what it is. But, yeah, we'll get a few here today for sure. Yeah.
Nice work. And Queen's birthday weekend next weekend, do we have a break? Is the question, starting with you, Luke?
Yeah, well, we won't train. We're doing I shouldn't say this too loud going into the game today. Peter will have a giggle. But we're playing netball on Tuesday, so hopefully we don't play that today. But I'm going to get in trouble for that comment, aren't I? But, and then Thursday we'll have the night off, and then the weekend off. So we'll have a week's break really. Yeah.
And we're actually playing South Belgrave in the netball Tuesday.
There you go. Better than today, I suppose. Yeah,
that's it.
It's worked really well, and I appreciate you both coming on and being willing to have a chat to us on AFL Game Day. About the game, and you've obviously got a good relationship as well, so all the best to both of you. Thank you very much, and hopefully it's an epic game. It's going to be streamed live, it's going to be on SEN Plus, and it's game on. Division 3 at its best today. Thanks guys, all the best.
Boys. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you very much to the senior coaches, both of them, Ferntree Gully's Peter Farrell and South Belgrave's Luke Galliot. We'll be chatting to them throughout the afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed the first part of EFL Game Day on the pre-match show. We've gone through the formations of the game today, and we'll take that up again after 2 o'clock. But there's 4 more divisions we need to go through as you go local for your football this afternoon. We're going to have a break. We'll be back to take you through those right after this.
SEN Footy streaming.
And you're clear.
SEN app.
12, it's St Kilda.
Membry's ducked out the back door, turns Jeremy Howe around, snaps from 20 and kicks a brilliant goal.
Up against Port Adelaide.
Westhoff direction, he'll have a bit of company as it arrives. Westhoff at the back, who slots it through.
Join Peter Donegan, Andy Marr, Adam Cooney and Kane Corns tomorrow from 12. SEN Footy for 7-Eleven, Good Call and the Toyota Good for Footy program, supporting local clubs.
Wow, there's some great timber colours here.
Yeah, that's right.
There's reds, browns. I think I want a bit of character. Oh, wow, look at all these choices. Oh, there's tulips.
Let's go for the tulips then. They just look gorgeous.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app now gives you more choice than ever before. Select from a wide range of coffins, caskets and floral arrangements, view them in 360 degrees and compare selections and prices. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
Jack Heverin here, introducing the amazing Express range from Simmons Homes. First home buyer Metro prices from just $129,000 and you get a guaranteed 20-week build time. Express, built by Simmons, made by you.
T's and C's apply. BRN CDBU 49491.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say, and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Do you hold a current full Victorian motorcycle or scooter licence and want to earn some extra cash? Scooty! Melbourne's new two-wheeled taxi service is here. And right now, Scooty is looking for motor scooter drivers to beat Melbourne's traffic congestion and get people to the game, the gig or the meeting. Sign up at scooty.com.au today and turn your motor scooter into a money-making machine. Scooty. Delivering people.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having a
30 seconds.
Means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit Tyre.
10 to the throw.
Be a local owner operator.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim. Weekdays from 6 on SEN.
Let's go. I'm going to put your mics on now.
Division 3 action across the Eastern Football League today. It is EFL game day. It's 1v2 right here on SEN Plus 1377, of course streaming live around the globe on efl.org.au and simulcasting on Radio Eastern 98.1. How good was that? How good was that interview with both coaches? Changing it up there. Is it a precedent now, he said, although I don't know if too many coaches would like to do that, but that worked really well then. And thank you very much to both Peter Farrell and Luke Galliot.
Yeah, look, I think they both they got a great relationship with each other, which really helps. They know each other, and you know, they were excellent. They were really good. You got a real good feel about their relationship and about the way they think about a few things. So I really enjoyed that.
I think it shows that both of these coaches, they were very, very upbeat, and it has an effect on the players, I think. Obviously, they're not listening to this, but just the attitude going into the game, how they can be nice and relaxed while still having their mind on the job, it makes a difference, and it makes for a great pre-game, doesn't it, BWS?
Well, it does, and you know what? You just never know. But the way the season's shaping out, it could be the case that both these coaches come against each other on grand final day. We'll see if they're as willing on that day as well. Let's have a look at the other games across the Eastern Football League. Of course, we've gone through Premier Division already thus far, but let's look at Division 1 football today, and this is an incredibly close competition as always. First game we'll look at is Doncaster East back home at Zerbies. They take on East Ringwood. The Roos, a good win last week, a win they actually had to have, whereas Doncaster East, they lost to Ferntree. They beat Ferntree Gully in one of the last kicks of the day, got away with the win there. Then they actually remade a statement last week, holding Knox to 1 goal.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's exactly what they needed to do, because I think they'd had a couple of weeks where they'd coasted along a little bit and really hadn't put the foot down. They did it last week. East Ringwood, however, have been really, really consistent in every game they've played. Getting over the line against Wanney South at Wanney was a big win. I didn't tip that one. I think they're going to be really competitive, but I think they've got too many big outs. Yeah, I've looked at it. Cherney, Hancock and Waitman are all out for East Ringwood, and that's going to really hurt them. So I'm going for a Donny East at home, but, you know, I would expect East Ringwood to put it right up to them.
Yeah, I think Doncaster East will be too good, but arguably probably both these sides' best games they've played all year was last week, so they're both coming in with some good form. East Ringwood, terrific win after probably not getting across the line in quite a few results earlier in the season, so good for their confidence. But as you said, Davo, quite a few key outs, and it's probably going to be the difference. I think Doncaster East is going to be too strong. One
of the favourite sons of Doncaster East, Rami Ayubi, had a boxing match last night, his first, and won a title with through Tribute Boxing. And going by Instagram, of which I just follow, I don't post, seems like everyone was out there last night, so hopefully they didn't have a big night, because East Ringwood will be hoping that they did, because they could be right for the picking today.
Well, you'd hope that when the bell goes, it doesn't sound like the bell from the boxing, because it could be on.
Congratulations to Rambo there with his victory last night, and I'm tipping Doncaster East as well. They should be too strong at home. Upper Ferntree Gully, the Kings, a couple of games in a row now at home. This week they take on Bayswater, who had a low-scoring night game last week victory, and basically all of a sudden found a little bit of form themselves.
They have, and I think Upper Gully have been a little bit like Doncaster for me this year. They've been a bit of a disappointment. I thought they'd be a little bit better. Haven't played great at home. I think that Bayswater will certainly not be shocked by the size of the ground, having had a Bayswater as a home ground. So I think they're going to feel pretty comfortable out of Kings Park, and I think they're going to come away with the win.
Yeah, Bayswater for mine as well. As you said, Upper Gully been pretty disappointing. Bayswater coming off a good win against Lid. I saw the highlights from that game. It looked very, very cold and wet down at Bayswater. They would have hoped for a bit of nicer weather for that marquee Saturday night game. But, yeah, I think they're going to be too strong. They'll get the job done today.
I'm going against it. I'm going for Upper Ferntree Gully today. I think a home game, it's actually a very much must-win game for them. You just talked about the fact of the conditions of last Saturday night. That might be enough to get the Kings over the line today. So I'm going for them in an upset. Let's look at the next game. Park Orchards versus Wanturna South out at Domini. Tell you what, Park Orchards will be filthy that they lost to Murrelbark last week, and all of a sudden they absolutely need to win this game today, Davo.
They do, and they've been a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde the last couple of weeks, Park Orchards. I really don't know which one is turning up. Wanney South, the biggest issue with Wanney South at the moment is that they haven't got an enormous amount of depth. Park Orchards have got Philp and Whitnish out, which weakens them slightly. Wanney South at Wanney South. It's at Park Orchards. I'm going to go Park Orchards, but they really need to turn up, and if they do, they probably will win.
Yeah, I think Park Orchard's for mine. It's a massive game. Both these sides probably haven't had the best month. They've been pretty disappointing. Park Orchards, I think they're going to be a bit too good for Wantirna South at home, but they both need to win to stay in touch with the top four, because if they lose, they're going to be right back with the pack, and it's going to be tough to catch up from there. I think Park Orchard's just...
Must-win game for both sides. It actually is incredible. It's absolutely must-win. I'll go the easy way out. Park Orchards at home. Croydon, they take on the Knox Football Club, who are very disappointed after only kicking 1 goal against Donny East last week, after knocking off Lilydale the week before, so the form does exist. However, Croydon sitting second on the table and in really good form at home. I'm expecting they get the chocolates today. Yeah,
I'm going with them. They really impressed me against Swanee South a couple of weeks ago. I thought they were super around the ball, well structured. Their half-back line runs incredibly well. They'll be too good for Knox today.
Yeah, Croydon for mine. 6-1 with a percentage of just over 100. You can see they had that big loss to Doncaster East, but they haven't been dominant in any other games. They've been getting across the line and knowing how to win, and that's, I guess, the key of a really good side, and it shows why they're in second position.
They've got a really good depth out there at the moment. The Croydon Blues, the twos are going extremely well, which bodes very well for a club setting themselves for a big tilt at success later on in the year. Croydon will be too strong for Knox today. Now, the final game, the fifth and final game in Division 1 this week, up at Heights Reserve, it's Murrelbach, #Muzza B. They take on Lilydale. Lilydale, undefeated after 5 rounds, have lost the last 2. Murrelbach, in their last couple of weeks, they've had a draw, a loss, a win, all against good sides. How do we see this one? Because I tell you what, I'm backing Murrelbach today.
I was going to go close because Lilydale, they'll be dirty after losing last week, though, I think. And when we look at Lilydale's form, they're winning, but there've been a lot of close wins. So they could have actually lost 3 or 4 of those close ones.
Last kick, 2 wins on last kicks, basically, yeah.
So I think Murrelbach out there will certainly they'll be competitive. They'll certainly be right up there with them. But Lilydale, if they want to be a top 3 side, they have to win today, and I think they will.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lilydale, not with heaps of confidence, but I think it's a game that they just have to win. They simply have to win because they're going to fall out of touch with the top 2. They'll want to stay in that top 2 range for the majority of the year, and a game against Murrelbach, they just have to win, and I think they will. So I am going for Murrelbach as the upset because you say it's a must-win game for Lilydale. Essentially, Lilydale, it's going to be a top 5. So Lilydale pretty much know they're playing finals. Murrelbach today, they need to win to stay in touch with the hope to still play finals. Their form has been there over the last couple of weeks. They've had the draw, they've had the win. They win today against Lilydale. The belief is epic. It's a huge game for them. I'm tipping them in an upset. And the win last week also puts them off the bottom of the table as well. So that's the other end of the conversation as well with that relegation.
Yeah, well, you're spot on there as well. How good is Division 1? How good is every division? We've gone through 2. We've got 3 more to go, and we'll do those relatively quickly. SEN plus 1377 right throughout the afternoon till 6 p.m. as you go local for your footy across the Eastern Football League today. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We can't wait. We're not too far off kickoff. Stay tuned here on 1377.
No break here, guys.
No, so we will keep going, and Anyway, let's move on. Let's absolutely move on. Who needs a break when there's so much to talk about?
That's
anyway,
exactly right. Bring on Division 2.
I know, and how good is Division 2 as well? But now we go to the 3 divisions where there's the 8-team competition. So we're talking top 4 football as we look towards the end of the season. In this situation today, the first game we'll look at, Boronia taking on Belgrave. Boronia up and down in the last month. When they're good, they're unbelievable, and when they're not, well, anyone can beat them. Will they win today?
They will, because I think they're playing a side that's not travelling all that well. But Boronia last week were very, very ordinary against Heathmont, so they need to come out and play well. Mulgrave, Henderson back in, which is really important. But the key to Boronia, 5 of their key players who were out last week are back in, and the only one out is one of the Watsons. So I think Baronia will hit back with a win today against Mulgrave.
Yeah, Baronia for mine. I don't know how much to read into last week with a lot of players out, but 1 goal, it's a pretty average performance no matter what side you put on the park. But I think they're going to be too strong for Mulgrave, who have been pretty average this season.
Out at Tormore Reserve, it is the finals venue for Division 1 football. Jess Bolton playing his last game today as well, been a great servant for the Baronia Football Club as well.
Oh, that'd be sensational to be there, and he has. He's been really good over a number of years. Great finals footballer. But yeah, he's been a tremendous asset to that club over a number of years.
Yeah, an absolute star, and no doubt a former member of the media team, Brett Beston. He'll have to pull down the 800 photos of him he has in his bedroom as we look at Templestowe versus Ringwood, the match of the round in Division 2.
Yes, and Ringwood have slowly sneaked up on the competition and said, we're back here and you need to take us seriously. Templestowe, they've been a bit all over the place since the last time that we called them, but I'm going to stick with Templestowe at Templestowe today. Just last kick.
Last kick.
You
heard it here.
This is a hard one to pick. I'm actually going to go Ringwood. I think Ringwood, they've been in terrific form. As Davo said, they've really made a creep up on the competition, and this is now second versus third, which is something you couldn't really see happening probably a month ago. So it's great for the competition, but I think, Ringwood just starting to hit their straps, and I think they'll get the job done. But Templestowe, win against Mitcham last week, showing that they can do it against the best, and now that they are one of the best, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Redbacks just.
So it's, well, the Templestowe beat Mitcham last week, yeah? Ringwood, they were my roughie on EFL Insider during the week because based on ladder positions, they're building. So I can't change from that. Otherwise, I'll be accused of sitting on the fence and having a bet each way where you can't lose. So I'm going to stick with Ringwood there. Really impressed with the last month of football. The readjustment of the household names that have left the side, I think, is boding well for Brett Rowe and his troops as well. So I see Ringwood just getting up in this game today. The final game that we're going to have a look at in... there's 2 more. Scoresby versus Mitcham today. Scoresby searching. They want it. They need it. They need that win. But they come up against Mitcham, who in the last couple of weeks have had a minor slip after dominating the early part of the season. Not the best time for the Magpies today.
No, and they've had another 6 changes to their side. Paul Chadwick comes in, which is fantastic for them. But they've lost Marcius, Williams and Duncan out of their side. So
injury?
Don't know why they're out, but there's 3 key players out of their group. And unfortunately, with that experience out of the group and some of the boys that have come in have been great loyal servants, but I don't think they're up to getting over top of Mitcham, who, as you said, need to have this win to get back on track again.
Yeah, it's a game Mitcham really need, I think. Coming up against Scoresby, I think it could get pretty ugly. I think it's going to be Mitcham very, very, very comfortably.
And Mitcham win. Let's move on. Heathmont, the Basin, another very good game.
It is. This is going to be a ripper, and this is interesting again because we've now had. This is a replay of round 1, and the interesting thing about the replay is that 3 of the games are in exactly the same format, which is Baronia played at home in round 1 and home today. Scoresby at home today, and Heathmont at home today against the same team. So it's quite an anomaly within the system. Heathmont, great win last week. The Basin, really, really competitive the entire year. Heathmont will be too good and will get over the line just.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm thinking Heathmont just, but another terrific game here in Division 2. That 2 sides could be there at the pointy end of the season, and they're probably 2 sides that could almost be fighting it out for that one of them final spots in the 4 come the end of the year. So it's going to be a big game either way.
Big crowd always at the hangar, and I think the home side will get the chocolates today. Let's start with Division 3 round 8 action. The Waverley Blues taking on Domvale.
Yes, which Waverley Blues will turn up and which Domvale team will turn up. Domvale, very good win over Glen Waverley last week. Waverley, they've got a couple of good ones in Miles and Kinsella have come back into the side, which is handy. It is at Waverley, and I'm going to go for Waverley just.
I'm going to go against you. I think Don Vale, both sides, it's hard to get a read on both of them. Pretty inconsistent all year, but I'm going to go Don Vale in a close one.
Don Vale get the chocolates for me. Gav Casey will be really happy you said Waverley Blues. Brett Davidson. Of course, we've got the main game out here today is Ferntree Gully South. Belgrave will skip over that because the Whitehorse Pioneers, they take on Churnside Park. The Pioneers win this game.
Yeah, Whitehorse.
Yep, Pioneers.
Glen Waverley Hawks versus Warrandyte today. Is there something to salvage for the Glen Waverley Hawks? Can they beat the Bloods who have had a great start to the season?
I'm going to say no, purely because Dunn's out for Glen Waverley Hawks, and he's a key player for them. But then again, Warrandyte have got they've got a few players out as well. In Oliver, Grimes, Appleby, and Beasley are all out. But they've also got Luke Dunn and Cullum come back in. I'm going for Warrandyte to beat Glen Waverley out at Glen Waverley.
Yeah, Warrandyte for mine. I think they're going to be too good. Glen Waverley Hawks been pretty disappointing the last couple of weeks.
I agree. It is Warrandyte to get the points today against Glen Waverley. That's Division 3 done and dusted. We've got one more division to go through. That's Division 4. But, of course, game day is coming up, and it's Ferntree Gully taking on South Belgrave right here on 1377 SEN+.
About 45 seconds there, but that's okay. You're clear.
With Daisy Pearce returns Sunday morning from 8 on SEN.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stock take sale, which means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
Yeah,
that's right. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Sometimes in footy, going through the motions, players can feel like a robot.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Sorry, robot.
I can kick goals from 50 on my opposite leg.
No, you can't. But Robot Building Supplies can save us time and money. Steel sheeting and stumps.
Robots got it.
Wire mesh, roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. RobotBuildingSupplies.com.au.
Robot Building Supplies.
The 2019 Toyota AFL season is nearing halfway, so don't miss your exclusive Round 11 AFL record.
Featuring teams, stats and facts in your expanded matchday section.
In this week's record, senior writer Ashley Brown speaks to emerging Collingwood star Brodie Myercheck about his rise from VFL ranks to performing on the big AFL stage.
And
new each week,
Formline stats. How your team is travelling.
Don't forget to grab your AFL record this weekend. Still just $5.
Thanks to Karja, official 2019 partner of the AFL record.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation.
1.5.
Family Peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say, and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family Peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes, and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
From where you are to the game. From the game back to where you were. Get there with Scooty. Melbourne's first motor scooter rideshare service is here.
20 seconds.
It is the new, safe, greener, easier way to zip your way through inner city peak hour. Next time you're out and about, jump on the back of a Scooty. Download the Scooty app and book a ride.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Go with the intro.
Cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Okay, putting mics on. Go.
EFL Game Day right here on 1377 SEM+. Hope you're enjoying the pre-match show. It's been a fun first 55 minutes, there's no doubt about that. Make that an hour. In the reserves out here, it's 1v2 also, although it's flipped on its head because Ferntree Gully are undefeated so far, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a victory today because they're trailing by 22 points deep into the final term with a kick almost on the siren out here. We've got one more division to go through as you go local for your football this afternoon. Is Division 4 action, gentlemen. And Davo, in Division 4, the first game we're going to have a look at is Coldstream versus Croydon North, Mount Lilydale Old Collegians.
Yeah, well, look, they were really stiff last week, Croydon. They could have got up and had a win against Nuttawading. It went goal for goal right through the last quarter. So they'll be buoyed about the fact that they've been really close. Coldstream, they're a have to win. They got Verstegen, Dale and Wagner back in, which really helps them. But having said that, they've lost Cecilia and Daniel Price are out. So I think they'll be too strong.
Yeah, I think Coldstream obviously will get up pretty comfortably today, but good to see Croydon North Hemlock getting close and pushing towards that first win, but it won't be today.
And they are pushing towards it. It was great to talk to Tim Legg, the skipper, on EFL Insight earlier on this week. They're building towards something, great following, an initiation that's it's probably gone the way they expected as well. It's been tough, but there's plenty of positive signs, and look forward to calling them throughout their time in the Eastern Football League, which will be forever, no doubt. Coldstream are too strong in that one. Eastfield versus Nuttawading, the Rams at home. They will absolutely be too strong for the Lions today.
Definitely easy.
Yep, agreed.
It's as easy as that, isn't it? Sylvan versus Kilsyth. Kilsyth's really struggled this year, haven't they? And we have talked about it. Sylvan have been an improving side as well, and at that point where you want to pick them to win games that will take them that next step, haven't quite done that, but today you'd expect them to do it against Kilsyth comfortably.
Yeah, look, Kilsyth lost 35 players before the start of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And that kills any club, so they've been getting better, but they're still, when they're coming up against the top 4 or 5 sides, they've been defeated quite easily, and they'll be up at Sylvan. They'll be defeated easily today, I would imagine. Sylvan for mine.
Yeah, Sylvan comfortably.
Yeah, well, they have to win, otherwise then they won't play final Sylvan today, so this is a must-win game for them. Surrey Park, they take on Forest Hill in a local derby, and third versus fourth. This is an intriguing clash. Probably match of the round. It is match of the round in Division 4 this week.
Definitely match of the round. And Forest Hill have had a couple of good wins the last few weeks, particularly the win at over Coldstream at Coldstream. So they're certainly tracking the right way. Surrey Park have been quiet, but they're slowly starting to build up, and their win against Sylvan last week was excellent. Forest Hill, Denham and Pym come into the side, so that's 2 big ins, but they've lost Parent out of their team, which has been not a bad footballer. So I think Surrey at Surrey, because they have to win, will win.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Both sides had pretty similar seasons, started pretty slowly, coming not too bad of late. I think Surrey Park but not with a lot of confidence. It could really go either way. I'll go Surrey Park in a close one, though.
Yeah, no, it is really close, this one. I'm going Surrey Park also, and the reason being at home, we're lucky because, you know what, the Catfish is out there this afternoon, not only taking snaps but doing an around the ground report on this big clash, which is the number 1 game in Division 4 football this afternoon, as we turn our attention to the main game. And we're not too far away as both the reserve sides make their way off the field, and a great victory by the South Belgrave Football Club in the Resi, so they square the ledger now with Ferntree Gully and sit equal top of the table as the senior side start to run out. We're going to welcome the main calling team of the day. Great stuff by Brett Davidson and Tim Fitzsimons, but Wayne Brasher, he's the big man who travels by train during the week, and on the weekend he's the man who gets chauffeured by me sometimes. Good afternoon to you, Brash.
Yeah, good afternoon, BWS, and good afternoon to all our listeners. A great clash in Division 3 this afternoon, first versus second. I think it's going to be a tight contest for a while, but I think the strength of South Belgrave might win out this afternoon.
Looking pretty comfortable there, riding shotgun with Brett Davidson. So the A-team in special comments today, and when you talk about the word A-team, it's great to have this man out of the SEN studios and out at the game. Damien Watson, it's a very good afternoon to you, mate.
Good to be here at the foothills of the Dandenong Ranges, BWS. It's a great atmosphere, even on a wet, cold Melbourne winter day. Looking forward to this clash. Hopefully it's not too scrappy, despite the surface. I think we'll get a good quality contest.
We've talked about this game at the very start of pre-match, then we've spoken to the coaches, we've gone through the rest of the games, now we come back to it. What do Ferntree Gully need to do to combat the South Belgrave Football Club this afternoon, who have done nothing but impress everybody from the outside looking in?
They have to win in the midfield. That's what they have to do.
Yeah.
They have to, at this stage, Risley is a key player for South Belgrave. They've got to stop him. Kidd, they've just got to get their hands on the football and get it into the areas that they want to get it into to be dangerous. They can't allow South Belgrave to get the ball on the outside and put it in anywhere near that forward 50, because they've just got guns right through that forward area.
And what about Lee Odermatt, Brash? He's been in good goal-scoring form this season. How does the Ferntree Gully defence combat his influence?
Well, I was having a chat with BWS about this very same thing, and where Davo says that the midfield are going to have to fire for Ferntree Gully. Well, I think that the Ferntree Gully backline are going to have to play out of their skins this afternoon, because when you're up against a 3 or 4 pronged goal-kicking forward line, something has to give. And the thing is, the only way that I can see Ferntree Gully staying in the contest long enough is they've got to get down and dirty.
Look, they do. They have to stop. I don't think they're going to stop Odermatt. The reason being, Odermatt is one of those unusual forwards in that he pushes to the wing, and his ability to push to the wing and then push back. For his age, he is one of the best running forwards in the competition, in all 4 competitions. Although this bloke is a standout footballer, and his ability to go up and down the ground, and he kicks the ball a long way as well. So he's dangerous anywhere from the centre down. So he's a very hard forward to stop. What they've got to do is stop the other forwards.
Yes.
That's what they've got to do. They've got to stop them becoming influential. If they can do that, then they're a real chance.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because there's a lot of depth in that South Belgrave forward line. You can't necessarily choose the option of double teaming a certain player, because it leaves another player to utilise their influence on the game. So how do you negate a forward's influence in that situation?
I don't think at this level you can afford to play that sort of 2-on-1 situation at this level, Dave. I think at this level it's always been around the man-for-man football, and it's beat your man on the day, and I think that's what Ferntree Gully have to do. I don't think they can afford to get too flamboyant.
No, look, I agree. And from talking to the coaches previously, it came out fairly clearly that in round one, Ferntree Gully were able to push players behind the contest, quite a few behind the contest, to choke up that area, to not allow the South Belgrave forwards, and it became a bit of a tough scenario for them to get loose. Don't be surprised that they start that way, and then they've got to work their way up the ground. But look, it's going to be very, very interesting to see who's actually out there, because there might be a few players that weren't on the list.
I've just noticed Sean Curry, number 18, he was named as an emergency. I reckon he's playing now.
Yes.
The big, tall. And there was another player listed who and would be a great inclusion if he's playing, Matty Petrarca for Ferntree Gully. I haven't seen the number 44 yet, but if he's playing, that gives that Gully forward line a little bit of potency.
Well, if they can afford to throw Curry forward, because they'll play Diazio in the ruck, which is what it looks like is going to happen now. And you can see the South Belgrave backs are looking and going, okay, which one of you is going to take this 6'7"
It'll be Todd Burley.
It'll have to be Burley, and that's going to be a great contest because both players are very, very good.
We're about to get underway for Division 3 top of the table clash. It's Ferntree Gully taking on South Belgrave today. Get out to Wally Chew if you're in the area. It's sure to be a classic match. There's 21 other great games as you go local for your footy. Keep us up to date. Tim Fitzsimon's working around the grounds on social media and keeping us up to date, all of us, on those around the ground scores. Here's Damien Watson to take us through the first term.
South Belgrave on top of the mountain geographically, with Ferntree Gully just below, and it's the same on the ladder as we get underway. Diezzo won the tap, but it's South Belgrave with the clearance through Yonkers towards left half forward. Looks at the Odermatt direction, tries to paddle to his advantage. He's well claimed there by Noops, and the ball goes over the line, and the umpire's picked out a free kick for holding the ball. A good start to the game for Nick Noops.
He's not a bad player, young Noops too.
So currently in the right half back position. Noops confined to the boundary line. Looks towards centre wing. Big fly at the back. Diezzo exerting his influence already, and the umpire's not going to pay the mark, so it'll be a ball in. True centre wing position out of side at Wally 2 reserve.
He's going to be a key player for them, Diezzo.
So ball in once again. Diezzo again winning the tap from the ruck contest, and Ferntree Gully can work it forward methodically through Russo. Hand pass comes back. They're working across their half forward line. Kick across the ground. It should roll and trickle towards the boundary line. It stays in play. Well claimed there by Lovett. Goes backwards to go forwards, and the Eagles can work it through the corridor. Kick went over the head of Russo, the intended target. As a consequence, South Belgrave can work it forward now through Haddock. Gets the hand pass on to Dario. Looks into the pocket. A big fly at the back. Not quite taken there. And as a result, Noops can clear for Ferntree Gully.
And Noops does so, and as he gets it and spots up his target there in Sertzakos, who takes it across the half back line. So, just weighing up his options. Might have been a little bit of a whistle blown earlier, which created some confusion right near the boundary line. Strong tackle there over the back by Delou, and over she goes for a boundary throw-in. So, see big man Ben Haddock just calling for the trainer in the end there, and he went up in the ruck contest against Yeso. Then won the football, but the umpires paid a free kick, so it's going to go the way of Ferntree Gully through Chris Cox. So just behind centre line here, so just outside their half back line. The Eagles haven't gone inside forward 50 yet, but we've only gone 2 minutes here in the first term as the kick goes up towards the half forward line. Big knock over there by Bretner towards the boundary line over the top there. Sertzakos was there, quickly picked up there by Stein for South Belgrave. He banged it on his boot. That was good play. Got it away to Robertson, got the handball away. They're just trying to hit the targets up, getting down low. Lee Odermatt takes the mark. He's happy to announce where he took it as well. He's a 2 kicks from home. The driving kick goes inside forward 50, and a strong mark taken there by Ricardo Dario, and he'll have a ping from 50.
And that's the key with Odermatt, his ability to run up and down the ground, and he's such a good user of the football, and that was a lovely kick into that forward 50.
So Dario 45-degree angle, just gets inside the arc. He sets it up high. It's not going to get the big distance. A huge fly by Robertson over the back. He just couldn't pull it down. It's still a live football. It's still there. Amazingly, as they're trying to trap the football, there was Withers, couldn't get boot to ball. Could have almost been pinged. The Eagles did well to get the handball out, and they'll be happy with the stoppage there. Probably should have got a free kick at the line, but a massive fly by Jay Robertson. And still no score on the Eastland scoreboard. We've gone 3.5 minutes first term.
Diezzo wins the tap once again for Ferntree Gully. He's dominating in that ruck contest as the ball falls out of play. 30 metres around from the South Belgrave goal. A free kick's been picked out. Liam Kidd will be the recipient here. And he's probably just within his range, scoring distance-wise. He's got a couple of options up short. He looks in that direction to the hot spot. Big fly. Oh, gee. Landing awkwardly there was Robertson. He's looking for frequent flyer points this afternoon as the ball's locked up once again. Condor is besieged by a couple of Eagles. Will have a bounce 20 metres out from the Saints' goal. All set in motion once again. Diezzo bustles his opponent out of the way, and the free kick's been given against him. And it'll be a South Belgrave free kick right in front of goal. It looks as if Condor will be the recipient. He can go back 25 metres out directly in front.
That's the one thing that Diezzo struggles with sometimes, is a really tall opponent.
So Brad Condor, deliberate approach, only took a couple of steps, stabbed at the football, and as a consequence he's missed. Minus score. South Belgrave move on to 2 behinds, and Ferntree Gully yet to score 4.5 minutes in on the Eastland scoreboard.
He certainly rushed that. He should have gone back and taken a bit more time in that one.
So Hayden Lovett in the long sleeves that he's turned 3/4. He'll be the player to bring the ball back into play. The Ferntree Gully short passes on. And it was always there as well. James Buckingham takes it in the back pocket. Chance to go up towards the wing position. The kick went straight through the legs there of Cormac for South Belgrave, so the Eagles get a chance along the wing position. Picking up the football there was Odermac, got the handball away, couldn't hit the target, but barging his way through there was Burley, did well, got the handball back to Odermac, who released it. Stackers on the Mill will have a ball up. You would expect it's going to come in. Good umpiring just to see if it can get out. Eventually crosses himself. Umpire Brad Pulley, and we will have a ball right in front of the broadcast position here. Let's go around the grounds for the first time this afternoon, Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, Vermont with the early jump on ball win, 2-0 there, 13-0, and Doncaster leading South Croydon the first 2 goals of that game as well, 13-1.
Yes, the Sharks looking for atonement really after the season they've had so far. We're in stoppage motion once again. Condor with a new ruck opponent there in Curry, and again the ball falls to ground level. Umpire Pulley says it's mine. We'll have a bounce right in front of our broadcast position. Good conditions here at Wally 2 Reserve. Ground a little bit choppy on the broadcast wing. Curry tried to bustle his way through. Hand pass there from Cormac was intercepted, and the Eagles can move it forward through the arms of Gray. Shoots towards goal. It's skewed across to the left and out of bounds on the full. So South Belgrave 1 behind. Ferntree Gully yet to score. 6 minutes in on the Eastland scoreboard.
I don't think he realised he had as much time as what he did then. He really rushed that. And
I don't think there was any talk either though, Davo.
Lovely handball over the top though from Diezzo. He's been very influential early on.
And number 44 Petrarca is out there. The other emergency that was named.
Good stuff there, Brash, as a kick by Russo. He reclaims it there, got the handball away. That was half smothered, had support over the back. Ferntree Gully just trying to work themselves to within scoring range, and then I'll get another chance here as it comes out. Here's Blizzard, inside forward 50. He goes, couldn't quite spot up the target. Handball out by South Belgrave. They're just trying to get also out of that danger zone, and we will have a ball up about 50 metres out from the Eagles goal line.
Both teams are struggling with their footing at the moment, so it obviously is a little bit damp and shifting underfoot along this wing area.
So umpire Pulley throws it up now. Diezzo slapped it around. Quick kick goes forward now for the Gully. A big fly over the back there by Bettner. Got the timely fist on that, so the Saints do have the numbers at the fall of the ball. The clearing kick goes out towards a half back line underneath. That was Sertzikos. He got dispossessed of the football, or it was knocked away from him in fact, but Blizzard was there. Got the handball back to Sertzikos. Backwards to go forwards. It might work out okay. Young got the handball away, squeezing themselves out of a phone booth and trying to hit the target. It eventually does there as the kick by Curry goes inside and hits his target as well, which is Michael Top out in front. So the first genuine chance now for Ferntree Gully.
Well, they did that actually quite well. They looked like they were out of position quite a few times, but nice position, and Top, who is generally a good kick, should be able to nail this one.
Well, we're right behind him, so we'll back him in, Top. And should have said nothing because it was a helicopter punt that squeezed in for one behind. 8 minutes tick over in the first term out here on EFL Game Day. It's Division 3, first versus second, and it's all square, one behind each.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. 1377 SEM Plus. And we're streaming live around the globe via EFL.org.au. Adam Stein, the designated kicker for South Belgrave, brings it back in from the quarry end, looks towards centre wing. Burley flew high, couldn't quite take the mark. And a good tackle applied there by Kidd. That was of the Aiden variety, and we'll have a bounce 65 out for the Ferntree Gully goal. Umpire keen to get the ball in motion once again. Condor wins the tap. Tries to find his teammate in Dario's. Kicked it behind so far. Kick partially smothered. Trying to break his way through traffic is Kip once again. Hand pass intercepted. Sertikos also trying to bustle through a couple of would-be tacklers. It came out to Crocker. He was besieged. And it looks as if we'll have a bounce once again. Hard up against the boundary line. 55 out from the Gully goal.
You're going to have to earn your free kicks today, I think.
Curry with a double-handed punch towards half forward. Falls out the back. Ball still a dispute. Eventually it's picked up at a confined space and the Saints work it forward. Flying high was Blizzard and he forces it out of play between half forward and centre wing for Ferntree Gully. We'll have a ball in.
Well, I think Pete Farrell will be pretty happy with the opening 10 minutes. South Belgrave just haven't got off the chain yet.
Well, Haddock had the back spot there, and then he trapped the football again, quickly wrapped up there by Danu, and we'll have a ball up.
But I think having Curry has certainly added something to this side, and I think Petraka will be very dangerous up forward.
Haddock versus Diesso. It did look like Diesso got a little shove in the back there. The umpire said it was okay. Quick kick forward now for Ferntree Gully. Might just bounce inside, but it doesn't. Luke Galliot could have taken the mark, but opted against it, the senior coach of South Belgrave. So it'll be Adam Stein driving the ball. That's a nice neat kick up towards the wing position. Eyes only for the football though was Dan Diesso who takes the mark. They might get a switch here into the middle of the punt. This is okay. Strong tackle there by Odermatt. Off to the races there was Buckley, and he's awarded 2 Lee as he gets on the boot. Inside forward 50 he goes. It was... Well, there's been a whistle. It's 25, I think, potentially.
Coming back, I think.
Why is that coming back?
I'm presuming he might have encroached the mark before he kicked the ball.
Yeah, okay. It's a weird one. I think that everyone's stunned out here. Odermatt got the chance to go for round 2 there. Kicked it up towards centre half forward. Barging his way through there was Deleu. He's been all right for Ferntree Gully early in the piece. Up towards the half forward line. Getting underneath it. Michael Smith on the left. Out towards the wing position. A nice fist over the boundary line. It travels towards. Keeping it alive there was Walls. Just but seen over she goes, and we'll have a boundary throw in. 11 minutes gone here in the first term. Let's cross to Tim Fitzsimons, who's around the grounds today.
Yeah, in Division 1, Doncaster East leading East Ringwood 7-0, and in Division 4, Coldstream just over Croydon North Emlock. Good start from Croydon North Emlock. It's 14-13.
Hopefully the Rams make it competitive this afternoon. They were against Nuttawading last week as Diezzo receives a free kick out of the congestion, and he's currently on the true centre wing position here at Wally 2 Reserve. Overcast day here, the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Diezzo looks towards right half forward. In the front spot there was Costa for South Belgrave. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. It was a good effort. Followed up with a tackle, then stole it and pickpocketed it from his teammate. He was wrapped up by a couple of Eagles players, and we'll have a bounce 55 out from the Ferntree Gully goal.
I was just looking at it. Luxury to have someone like Michael Smith playing across the half-back line, isn't it? A side like this.
Certainly is. Risley in and under once again. Burrows the hand pass out. The ball's kicked off the ground through the corridor, but it's all Ferntree Gully trying to work it through a wall across their half-back line. Hand pass was intercepted. Lovett tried to give it off. Odermatt gets the hand pass out. Hurt the voice. And eventually the kick towards goal will bounce through for a behind. That was Jake Kidd, and only a minor score. So it's a soccer scoreline so far. South Belgrave 2 behinds. Ferntree Gully 1 point. Eastland scoreboard almost 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, a couple of plays there, Ferntree Gully guys, that didn't really want the ball in the moment. There was some very odd touches there.
Hayden Lovett takes us from the stoppage out towards the wing position, put pressure there on Calaparis. He got dispossessed. Another chance now for South Belgrave. The driving kick goes in towards the forward pocket. Bouncing football, chasing after it strongly was Jake Kidd, but the paint beats the player, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, look, I think one of the things that's been interesting is Ferntree Gully are happy to handball backwards a fair bit. Just got to be careful in these conditions that they don't turn the football over. It becomes too easy goal side for South Belgrave.
Well, it was a very shallow boundary throw-in, and the umpire will do it again. We pushed out about 5 to 10 metres, so we're still about 30 metres out from the South Belgrave goal line. We're yet to see Major go through on the board. Diesso, little handball over the top, that was okay. Seward got dispossessed. Forbes trapped it nicely there for South Belgrave. Haddock, he was in position A. He's inside the square. Needs to spot up a target. Kicks it towards a hotspot. Who's going to be front and centre here? It's Ferntree Gully, who do have the numbers linking up well there. Buckley got the handball away. The kick goes out towards the wing position, and a strong mark has been taken out there by Farrell. On the right boot, a sloppy kick that's been chopped off nicely there by Mick Smith on his boot, and he hit up the target just to Jay Robertson. Third time a charm. This time he didn't have to do a specky. He got to take it out in front. So he's about 75 metres out from home. Just pokes it towards the half-forward line. Probably not the most high percentage kick you could ask. The handball over the top there by Kidd. They've got the numbers. Here's Odermatt, whose kick was borderline smothered. Got about 20 metres on it. The Eagles do have the numbers. It's a scrambling game at the moment. There's a lot of pressure happening from both sides. Another interception and another boundary throw-in, Damien Watson. 14 and a half minutes gone in this first term. 2 versus 1. South Belgrave lead.
You got 28 players at the moment in South Belgrave's forward 50.
It is a congested game so far. Diesso wins the tap once again for Ferntree Gully. Tried to find his teammate in Cox. Couldn't quite break through the oncoming traffic. It's still across that half-forward line for South Belgrave. Diving in for the football is Milivojevic in the end. And he forces the ball up. Milivojevic.
Milosevic, something like that.
I think it's Milo to his mate. So,
yeah, call him Milo. No, we keep going, Damo.
Diesso forces it over.
Yeah, that'll do. I have to say, the umpires have let it go, but there's a lot of incorrect disposals along the way.
It's been a scrappy game so far. Russo gets the hand pass away to his teammate in top, who's taken to ground and will have a ball up. In fact, it was Seward at the bottom of the pack.
I think that's one of the things as a player. You work out how the umpires are umpiring, and then you've got to learn to play to it.
So set in motion once again. Diesso tried to bustle his opponent Haddock under the ball. It falls out the back. Umpires picked out a free kick for a high tackle. It's going to come back, and it's across that Ferntree Gully left half back position. 2 behind, South Belgrave, Ferntree Gully 1.
Seward.
So Seward looks to go backwards. It was a scrappy kick inside his defensive 50. Receives it again with the 1-2. Kicks towards his full back line. And the mark's taken by Lovett, so they can regroup here, the Ferntree Gully defence, and work it methodically forward. It's currently in their right back pocket position. Noops takes it, looks towards the outer wing, tries to find the intended target in Aitken. It was intercepted by Cormack, and will have a ball in between half forward and centre wing for South Belgrave.
The danger with going backwards like that is that you have to move the ball quickly. As soon as you stop, the opposition is able to cover it easily.
Haddock got the handball down, trying to press forward here is the Saints. Yonkers on the left. Kicks it towards the hotspot. Odermatt flies over the back and takes a strong mark. And when you need class to stand up, that's what happened there.
Yeah, that was a really good mark, Lee, because he was actually third in line there and got enough spring off the contest. That's a very good mark under these conditions.
And now it becomes a difficult matchup because we've already seen Jay Robertson decide that he likes to go high as well. So you've got 2 forwards that do like to be high in the air. Makes it hard to match up on both.
He's kicked several bags this week, coming off 6 last weekend. He'd loved the first of the afternoon. He makes no mistake. Straight over the goal umpire's head it goes. That's the first goal on the Eastland scoreboard here on EFL Game Day, and South Belgrave lead at the 17.5 minute mark by 7 points. 1-2-8 to 1 behind.
And look, and that's a goal from as I said, a poor bit of play from Ferntree Gully where they went backwards 40 metres and across the ground, turned it over. The ball got put into a dangerous position, and as we said, they've got some tall marking options there, South Belgrave, pretty hard to compete against.
Let's head to the EFL Score Centre. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, so Baldwin have got one back against Vermont. Vermont still leading though 14-9, and the same score in Doncaster versus South Croydon. Doncaster leading South Croydon 14-9.
So we're back in the middle once again. Lee Odermatt claiming first blood for South Belgrave in this game, continuing his good goal scoring form. As we're set in motion in the centre of the ground, Condor won the tap, and it's South Belgrave with the clearance towards left half forward. Leading the race for the ball there was Barton Smith. Still Ferntree Gully, scrappy disposal across their half-back line. Gray at right half-back, looks towards his teammate in Sertsikos, who just takes the mark with the outstretched arms inside the line. And he can regroup here for the Gully. Cross right half-back. Kick towards centre wing. Flying high over the back for the Saints was Stein. Couldn't quite hold the mark. As a consequence, it falls out the back to Buckingham. Looks towards right half forward. It's paddled backwards. South Belgrave under pressure now across their half back line. Diezzo breaks through traffic. Spins around. Kicks into the pocket. It's a one-on-one contest. In front there was Petrarca. Couldn't quite hold it. He's claimed to ground and will have a bounce in the forward pocket deep inside Ferntree Gully's forward 50.
So instead of kicking it to the one-on-one, kick it over his head and let him turn his player inside out there. That just was a poor option kick then.
Well, at least they gained some space in their forward line, Ferntree Gully. Diezzo won the tap. Good tackle applied there by Gray. Forces it out of bounds, deep in the forward pocket for the Gully.
Well, they gained that space, but now there's, once again, 25 players inside the forward 50 for them. So it's going to be, it's set the tone. We know how this game's going to play out at the moment. It's going to be a real big arm wrestle. Maybe we should have got both those coaches to do that little duel at the start of pre-match there. We'll have another stoppage. Umpire Brad Pulley to throw the ball up just inside the forward 50 here for the Gully. They'll be looking for their first chance to score as the quick kick comes out. That was okay. Petrarca up towards the top of the square, but the Saints do have the numbers. Kid did well, got the handball away, needed some support. It came out there was Yonkers, went after it again. It was slapped towards though the position, and they have a chance. Ferntree Gully kicking towards the Diezzo area. He waited, he snapped around the body, and a Tobin Brothers goal at a contender. That's number one. A fantastic goal there by Dan Diezzo. He gets Ferntree Gully back to within a point as we hit time on here in the first term. That was a clever goal, and it was good that he actually took that extra second or two just to weigh up the options. And I get the feeling he's had a lot of the football, and it's going to take a lot for Ferntree Gully to get up today. He will probably be best on ground.
Yeah, he is, and he's actually started the game very well. He's playing that true followers role where he's not only competing in the midfield but around the ground, Davo.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the area that he's most strong at is on the ground.
Ticking into time on in this first term, and it's South Belgrave with a 1 point advantage on the Eastland scoreboard. We're back in the middle. Hand pass comes back towards Kidd of the Ada variety for South Belgrave. It's across their half-back line. Clearing kick looks towards centre wing where Ferntree Gully have the numbers. Uncontested mark, not paid there to the recipient in Buckley. Tried to get it back. And gee, the ball skills so far have been pretty scrappy. Turnover, Liam Kidd takes advantage, kicks inside 50, and the leading mark is taken on the chest by Brodie Connolly. He can go back and extend South Belgrave's lead. In fact, he's going to chip it short. It's a risky kick towards Odermatt. Couldn't quite take the mark. He was bustled out of it by his opponent. Still a chance here for Connolly. Latches onto the loose ball, manages to get a kick while on his backside. Young intercepted the ball. It's still across the half-forward line for South Belgrave.
Good tackle.
Is wrapped up by Yonkers.
Great tackle.
And holding the ball, he's duly rewarded. That was sensational play by Ashley Yonkers, and he can possibly go back for a shot here. 55 out. Is it just beyond his range?
Under these conditions, I reckon it would be.
Yeah, and Ferntree Gully got to stop this kicking behind.
Yonkers chips the pass into the pocket. Loose checking by the Ferntree Gully defence, and the mark has been taken by Sam Brown. He can go back and have a shot from a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out.
They've now had 4 times that they've gone backwards and turned the football over, so they're either they've got to get more confidence in going forwards at the moment.
So Sam Brown looking to extend South Belgrave's lead to 7 points late in the first term. Deliberate approach. It was touched on the mark. Still a chance at the top of the goal square here for the Saints. Trying to latch onto the loose ball. It was brilliant play. Working through his Connolly. Swings round onto the left foot. Snap towards goal is well off target. Only a minor score. So South Belgrave 139. Lead Ferntree Gully 117. 22 and a half gone first term on the Eastland scoreboard.
I think both sides are struggling with the conditions at the moment. The ball seems heavy. They're not getting much purchase with it. So, but Ferntree Gully have just got to work it out of the defence a bit better. And the slow ball's not helping them at the moment.
Doesn't even seem like there's too much of a breeze out there also. So we'll go to Tim Fitzsimons shortly, thanks to car sales around the grounds. As Ferntree Gully, they work themselves up towards wing position. Sertzakos up towards the half-forward line now. That was a good kick. Inside forward 50 they go, but it goes wide. The lead was out by Matty Petrarca, and it went out of bounds on the full. So be a free kick. Oh, is it a boundary throw-in? Was that touched off the boot?
Could have been, but whatever it was.
Potentially, well, it has to have been because it is now a boundary throw-in.
And he had 3 players inside him. He could have given it to.
Diesso got the easy tap down that time, but they do have the numbers, the Eagles, across the half back line. Nicely done, though, and trapped there by Brown. Got the handball for South Belgrave away, and the kick goes up towards Odermatt, who's on the wing position. Knocked it to advantage, played the percentage football. That was okay. It was almost a throw to Noobs, but the umpire said it was all fair. And the kick there, this time by Curry, goes backwards to go forwards again. He hit the target. It makes sense. Crocker spots up his man as well. So Ferntree Gully just working themselves up. Sertzakos.
He actually kicked that ball 40 metres with a torpedo backwards.
It was an inside-out mongrel punt torpedo. It was incredibly interesting as well as a kick there by Barton Smith. The hyphen goes across now towards Lovett, who's had a bit of the football, and he's coughed it straight up. Dario takes the mark. So he's done his bit and usually been pretty clean as well, although he's kicked it to a 3-on-1 situation this time, and it's been fisted over the boundary line by Barton Smith. Over the boundary line, she goes for a boundary throw-in.
I think both coaches will be disappointed with both teams in a different way. I think at this stage, I think South Belgrave's movement into the forward line's been haphazard, and they continually look for the wrong option, and Ferntree Gully's movement out of defence has been poor.
Let's go to Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds, thanks to car sales.
12 minutes into the opening term between Norwood and Blackburn, and it's Norwood 19 leading Blackburn 18. Good game there. And quarter time at South Croydon and Doncaster. It's Doncaster leading by 2 goals.
Dying stages of this first term here at Wally 2 Reserve as a siren blares for quarter time. A low-scoring, haphazard first term. See South Belgrave 2 points up over Ferntree Gully in the top of the table Division 3 clash. South Belgrave 139, leading Ferntree Gully, the home side, 117.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 1377 SEM Plus. It's EFL game day in Division 3 football today. It's low scoring, but it's tight. That's what we expected today. 21 other great games as you go local for your football this afternoon. At Footy EFL. Keep us up to date. Tim Fitzsimons working you around the grounds this afternoon. 1 quarter down, 3 to go. Stay with us right here.
SEN Footy streaming live and you're clear. 4 minutes.
Hurry into the Kathmandu flash sale on now. Get 40% off Kathmandu branded gear, including their new winter range. Must end Monday at Kathmandu. Don't miss out.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stock take sale, which means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener. 9 News invites you to join our team nightly at 6 for Melbourne's #1 news. Tony Jones with the latest sport, including the footy, plus Lavinia Nixon's weather forecast. 9 News, proud supporter of the Eastern Football League.
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness. Watch the best of the best strive for championship glory.
Golden State Warriors or Toronto Raptors.
Which team will be crowned NBA champion?
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness.
For the full final schedule, team updates and game previews,
Go to NBA.com/playoffs. Listen live on NBA Now via the SEN app.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
One could argue that a head coach will never be replaced by a robot. Then again,
Do something, don't think, do.
Robot Building Supplies has everything. Steel, sleepers, wire mesh,
Robots got it.
roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Be the winning team on site. For your building supplies, order at robotbuildingsupplies.com.au or call 1300-GO-ROBOT. You'll speak with a real human.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking.
1 minute.
Makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes, and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Do you hold a current full Victorian motorcycle or scooter licence and want to earn some extra cash? Scooty! Melbourne's new two-wheeled taxi service is here. And right now, Scooty is looking for motor scooter drivers to beat Melbourne's traffic congestion and get people to the game.
15.
.com.au today and turn your motor scooter into a money-making machine. Scooty. Delivering people.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim. Weekdays from 6 on SEN.
Okay, here we go.
Head back and go local.
Mic's on. And go.
And welcome back to EFL Game Day on this Saturday afternoon right here on 1377 SEN Plus and streaming around the globe on EFL.org.au in the Division 3 top of the table clash. Now it's been a haphazard first term which sees South Belgrave 139 leading Ferntree Gully 117. The sole goal kickers so far for each side. Leo Demat has the one for South Belgrave and Daniel Diezzo with a late goal for Ferntree Gully. We'll head around the grounds for car sales to Tim Fitzsimons in just a moment, but just very quickly, Wayne Brasher and Brett Davidson, your observations of that first turn?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the prettiest football to watch. I think both sides are struggling to get clean possession, and I've got to say, Davo, that some of the decision making from both sides coming out of their back line that needs a bit of a rethink, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, that's the thing that's probably disappointed me more than anything is that they've had players on that they haven't given. They've given it to players that shouldn't have been given to. Some of the decisions from some of the South Belgrave players going into the forward line have been off. They haven't put into dangerous positions. They've decided to go, in some cases, 1-on-3 situations, and the ball hasn't even been at the advantage of the one. So at the moment, whether it's both teams feeling each other out a little bit at this stage, I'm not 100% sure, but you'd expect that the standard of the game is going to have to improve dramatically, because if this is 1 versus 2 at the moment, It's and it's not the conditions. It's 1v2, and it's not like it's been a dour struggle with both sides moving the ball well. It's just been, as I say, poor decision making.
Let's head to Tim Fitzsimons for Around the Grounds, thanks to car sales.
Yeah, we'll start with the Premier Division. We've got Doncaster up against South Croydon. It's Doncaster in that one leading 3-2-20 to South Croydon 1-3-9. Baldwin against Vermont. Baldwin actually coming back after conceding the first 2 goals there. They lead it by 3 points, 17-14. Noble Park getting the early jump on Rowville as well, 4-2-26 to Rowville 2 straight 12. A bit of an upset brewing there early. North Ringwood against Montrose. It's North Ringwood 2-4-16 leading Montrose 1-3-9. In Division 1, we've got Doncaster East and East Ringwood in a tight contest there. Scores level at the moment. Upper Ferntree Gully and Bayswater. Upper Ferntree Gully leading 27-7 and Park Orchards leading Montana South 20-9.
Start of the second term here at Wally 2 Reserve. South Belgrave leading by 2 points over Ferntree Gully. Diezzo winning the tap, but it's South Belgrave with the clearance through Tim Risley. Sends a long loopy hand pass over the top to Aiden King, who's claimed it a gang tackle, but still had the poise to give the hand pass away. It was good composure in the end, and the mark's taken on centre wing by Sam Brown for the Saints. Decent crowd in. Get down here if you're in the area in Ferntree Gully. Spearing ball towards left half forward. Finds the intended target in Tim Risley. 2 touches in this passage of play. So Risley wheels onto the right foot, sends a probing ball to the hot spot. It's a 1-on-2 contest, flying in from the side. Smith couldn't quite take the mark for the Saints. Still a chance deep at the forward line. Condor sends it out. Snap around the body by Sam Brown was touched off the boot, and only a minor score. So South Belgrave 1-4-10 lead Ferntree Gully 1-1-7 Eastland scoreboard.
I like that. That bit of play was probably the best piece of play of the day so far. There was a lot more purpose there by South Belgrave going into their forward 50.
Round the ground, thanks to car sales.
So that final game in Division 1, it's Moorabah leading Lilydale by 11 points, 20-9. And in Division 3, Whitehorse leading Churnside Park, 5-4-34 to 3 straight 18.
Jay Robertson kicks it towards half forward with the intercept, and the mark's taken by Leo Demat. He can go back from 55 metres out directly in front. Does he have the legs here, Davo?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yep. And the difference already has been the separation that they've been able to get their forward line. Had space and got separation.
So Leo Demat has booted 1 goal already. The sole goal for South Belgrave so far. From inside the centre square, it's a long ball. It's a probing ball, but it's offline. A minor score. South Belgrave 1-5-11. Lead Ferntree Gully 1-1-7. 2 minutes gone. Second term on the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, they've had complete control. They need to get it on the scoreboard.
You have to capitalise while you have the momentum, as they say. Ferntree Gully deep in defence once again. The kick in finds the intended target in Blizzard in the right back pocket position for the Eagles. Crowd still streaming through.
See, now that's a poor decision because he had nowhere to go and no one to go to once he had the footy.
Blizzard looks towards centre wing. Receiving the tapped intercepted ball there was Top, and eventually tackled was Chris Cox. We'll have a bounce between half forward and centre wing for the Saints. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast, efl.org.au and on 1377 SEM Plus. Diezzo, it's a loose hand pass out for the ruck contest. Buckingham found his teammate with the hand pass, but it trickles over the line as DeLu is forced over. True centre wing position broadcast side.
There is only one clear winner on the ground player-wise, and that's Diezzo at this particular stage of the match.
No doubt about that, although he lost the ruck contest on that occasion to Haddock, who forces a tackle from his own ruck contest, and the siege there was Cox.
He does look like a big Scottish fisherman, doesn't he? The big haddock.
He does too. Not quite Billy Connolly, but he has that presence about him. Diezzo is tackled by Haddock. Nothing forthcoming from the umpire. We'll have another bounce, true centre wing. So the crowd trickling through, as I said. Overcast day here in the foothills of the Dandenong Ranges. Diezzo wins the tap from the ensuing stoppage. Trying to break through as Liam Kidd with the tackle. He claims his opponent did a bit of a bear hug, and we'll have another bounce on centre wing. Scrappy encounter, nothing's changed so far.
No. First minute and a half looked all right for South Belgrave.
They have to capitalise, as we said. Liam Kidd, who's been excellent so far in this second term, swings it round his body towards left half forward.
It's out in the full.
A fickle bounce. Has it gone out on the full? The South Belgrave players are appealing. The boundary umpire was a long way off the play.
He probably had no choice there but to call it out of bounds. He couldn't see it.
Yes, it was almost a fortuitous ricochet as far as South Belgrave are concerned, but no free kick is paid. So the tap once again, one for South Belgrave as it's forced out the back to Dario. The hand pass intercepted, however, by Buckley, and the ball is forced out onto the open wing in the open space. Latching onto the loose ball for South Belgrave is Wallace. Gets the hand pass back to his teammate in Brettener, who's coming into the game in this second term. Poor kick, however. It was intercepted by Crocker, who was taken down as he got his hand pass away to Buckley. He's gang tackled by a couple of Saints. The umpire forces a stoppage out of side here at Wally 2 Reserve on centre wing.
And again, that situation where they've gone backwards to a player that really doesn't have the space to then go forwards.
You have to be precise when going laterally across your half-back line. Ferntree Gully haven't been doing that so far in this game. As Dario swings it round his body with a high rain-making ball towards centre half forward. The mark has been paid to Chris Waldron in the long sleeves, and he can recommence an attack for Ferntree Gully off the centre half-back position.
He's got no options.
No, there's a bit of a pedestrian nature to this game as Waldron looks towards the centre wing position. At the back is Aidan Kidd. Tries to go backwards to go forwards through the aid of Brettener. His kick was off target once again and out on the full. The skill level has been poor so far. It'll be a free kick. The recipient, Michael Top for Ferntree Gully, off true centre wing. Let's head around the grounds for car sales.
Yeah, Brett Eddy's keeping going with his good form, kicking the first 2 goals of the second term. That gives Vermont a 10-point lead over Baldwin. And Noble Park with a very fast start to the second quarter. They have a 32-point lead over Rowville.
Wow.
Well, the kick goes up towards the half-forward line through Crocker. It was picked up and then driven out wide, touched off the boot, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
There's just no real system with either side at the moment. There's no handball receives. There's no kicking over lines. It's just very pedestrian in both sides. So a bit hard to work out what they're both trying to do.
Low scores coming across in all divisions as well today. So the rain's holding off. Why so glum, everyone? Like, let's we want to see some
Everyone's
good football.
Everyone's got the flu.
As it comes up towards the wing position now, the kick goes in towards the middle. No favourable bounce there, but it works out okay here. Buckingham linked up well, inside forward 50. That was a better kick. Chasing after at that time was Matty Petrarca, trying to keep the ball alive, but over the boundary line she goes for a boundary throw in.
So the run receive was great, but he went to the wrong option. He needed to go top of the square. Just not putting the ball in enough dangerous positions.
Absolutely spot on as the umpire throws the ball back into play there. Dispossessed there was Russo. Saints have the numbers. Umpire wants the ball.
I think we've probably been spoilt too in the opening 2 months, with good dry weather conditions. But the players probably not used to it.
Throws it up. That's umpire Pulley. Plays screaming for it. Charging through there was Seward. Got trapped very quickly, and we'll have another restart. 11 plays 7, South Belgrave lead 7 minutes into this second term on EFL game day. Basically a throw there, Deleu up towards the forward pocket. It went right across the face of goal. Probably travelled more backwards more than forwards in the end. And over she goes right underneath the Eastland scoreboard. And as we said, we're halfway through and 7 minutes through, and it's a 4-point margin.
Yeah, we can see even with their setups, they're not going to change across the ground, South Belgrave. They're going to go down the line each time. So it's just interesting the way that both sides, their structures are just not attacking at this very moment.
No doubt about that. Condor was wrapped up in a tackle. And the ensuing ball up, Diezzo wins the tap. But it's Dario latching onto the loose ball for South Belgrave at ground level as Risley streams through the corridor. He's been reasonable in this term, but his kick was a shocker towards half forward. And as a consequence, on the counter-attack, Ferntree Gully can make a foray forward through Sertzikos. Chips it towards centre half forward. They're 70 metres around from their goal as the mark's taken by Kieran Gray. 8 minutes into the second term, the Gully trail by 4 points. Gray looks inside 50. Diezzo just too strong, too good. Body work supreme. He takes a chest mark and can go back and put Ferntree Gully in front from about 40 metres out, slightly off, directly in front.
And there's the difference. They got the ball, they transferred it through the middle, and then they had a nice kick, and you're always going to tell Diezzo was going to take that mark because of his strength in the contest.
And finally, they took the right option.
Well, they favoured Diezzo with the delivery inside 50. He's been amongst the best players on the ground so far. Can he put his side in front? It looks decent off the boot. It failed to straighten up at the last minute from left to right, only a minor score. So Ferntree Gully 1-2-8, trails South Belgrave 1-5-11, 9 minutes gone, second term Eastland scoreboard. Let's head around the grounds.
Yeah, you spoke BWS before about a few low-scoring games. We've got a couple of high-scoring ones in Premier Division. Blackburn leading Norwood 32-31, I should say, at quarter time, and in Division 1, Knox leading Croydon 32-25.
Good stuff there, Tim Fitzsimons, thanks to Car Sales. And so those other Division 1 scores at quarter time, Upper Ferntree Gully lead by 20 points over Bayswater, Park Orchards by 11 over Wanturna South, Murrelbuck by 11 over Lilydale also, and Doncaster East Ringwood. It's all square as it's brought back into play, and there's another stoppage.
AKR would be happy about that, BWS.
No doubt about it. As it comes in now, a little quick kick out, up towards the wing position. Handball out, love it. Kick was smothered, but had some support. That was okay. Buckley scrambled a kick forward. And over she goes for another boundary throw in. Yonkers seeing that over. 10 minutes gone by. Crowd is small. Everyone wants to be rugged up today. I'm sure there's plenty of fans listening in the cars around the grounds today. Leroy Green will pick it up on the monitor if you want to flash your lights to say that you are listening today. As it comes in now, little handball over the top there. Here's Smith looping handball over the top. He was looking for Dario. He was wasn't dispossessed. He just didn't win the football. Big kick up towards the wing position, fisted over in the front spot. There was Jack Bretner, and over she goes for a boundary throw in.
It's got that feel about it like it's 18 minutes into the last quarter.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And the game's won. So over the ball there is Ben Haddock, forces a scrambling tackle from the stoppage, and we'll have yet another bounce. 70 metres around from the Ferntree Gully goal. Diezzo is poised across that half-forward line. He's booted one goal already and one behind to boot. As we're set in motion once again, swinging round the body as Russo sends a high tumbling ball inside 50 for the Eagles. It's spoilt effectively there by Bretner for South Belgrave. Still forced to ground level, still the ball in dispute. It's been the tail of the tape so far. Tackle is applied for Ferntree Gully by Deleu, and the umpire will, I think, pay a free kick. It's going the way of South Belgrave in the left half-back position. Smith will be the recipient.
Let's just recap those Premier Division scores at quarter time. South Croydon lead Doncaster leads South Croydon by 11 points. A 3-point margin. Baldwin lead Vermont at quarter time. Roval trailing by 32 points against Noble Park. What a first term there by the Bulls. And in a close one, 5-point margin, North Ringwood holds sway over Montrose.
There you go.
Keep us up to date at Footy EFL via Twitter all afternoon.
Haven't seen a pair of lights flash yet, BWS.
So Curry wins the tap for Ferntree Gully. It's on centre wing, the true centre wing position, and it trickles out of play in the mud heap on the western wing here at Wally 2 Reserve.
Well, there's not one player out. They're all in one half of the ground at the moment. No one's split out wide at all.
It's all congested. Haddock's kick was fortuitously marked. I don't think it was intended, but the mark's taken by Risley for South Belgrave, looking towards left half forward. Connolly was spoiled, and it'll be a ball in 70 metres around from the South Belgrave goal. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to Car Sales.
Yeah, we've got some Division 4 scores as well. Coldstream leading Croydon North Emlock 39-14. East Burwood leading Nunawading 54-0. Sylvan leading Kilsyth 44-14. And Surrey Park leading Forest Hill 17-8.
Forbes kick around the body was almost marked by a flying Connolly. Couldn't quite take the mark. It's inside the Saints 50. They'll try and capitalise on this foray forward. Connolly again trying to pick up the ball, evade through traffic. He's gang tackled by a couple of Eagles. The umpire calls for respite, and we'll have a bounce 20 metres out from the Saints goal.
They looked like they were going to get a break each and every time, but they were well tackled then by Ferntree Gully.
So Connolly flew high with the tap. Trying to break through was Liam Kidd, who was impressive in the first term for the Saints. Forces it out of play as the ball trickles over in the forward pocket for South Belgrave.
I think Durayo's working very hard for South Belgrave in that midfield as well.
Saints by 3 points on the Eastland scoreboard. Curry won the tap, but taken high was Liam Kidd as he roved the football, and he can have a shot from 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Give the Saints a 9-point break.
It was a bit unfortunate there, Aiken, because he actually slipped.
How about this for nonchalance?
Nice.
A snap around the body from a set shot position. Liam Kidd. He's playing up for the cameras, I think. South Belgrave 2-5-17, leading Ferntree Gully 1-2-8. 13 and a half gone, second term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And as you do in the AFL, you kick a goal and then you run off and go onto the boundary.
Had a bit of Stevie J about it.
They must have the GPS on him, and he's done too much work already. It's
He's been good though. So
he has. He's been very good. Yes, he's worked really hard under the contest, and that was a clever goal. And even though it seemed nonchalant, it was he knew what he was doing, and it was gives him a bit of a buffer.
Would you support that, Davo, if one of your players from a set shot position slapped it across the body?
I don't like it, but if they know how to do it and they do it well, I suppose you've got to live with it. But
modern day football.
No, but sometimes you feel more comfortable knowing that you're comfortable kicking in that direction. Otherwise, it could go another way. So when it works off, you give the accolades, don't you? Out of the middle, kid on the right boot. Can they get a couple in a row here? Odermatt at the front spot. The second effort. The step around the body by Lee Odermatt. He slams through his second goal. That's 2 in a minute for the South Belgrave Football Club, and they open up a handy little lead here. 15 points it is as we cross the 15-minute mark of the second term.
And that's the difference when you get the clearance and you get it quickly down to a forward line. You're able to do that. And Odermatt's smart. He saw that the contest was there, roved the contest, and it was a nice snap over the shoulder.
Yeah, good work by Condor to find that space for the South Belgrave midfield to run onto the contest then.
And we'll call that another Tobin Brothers goal of the day contender. There's no doubt. Second effort there. Fantastic stuff by Lee Odermatt. By Brad Pulley to restart play in the middle of the ground. And then once again, a quick clearance there by South Belgrave. Inside forward 50 or thereabouts. Brown was on the full ball. Stolen by Odermatt. He's got one nomination. He'd love another one. And you could just write that one down. We'll call that the clubhouse leader. Goal number 3 for Lee Odermatt. That's 3 goals now in 3 minutes. South Belgrave, all of a sudden looking pretty dangerous.
And Condor in the ruck. Beautiful hands there. He got it over the top. Nice clearance. And again, you put pressure on when you put it in dangerous situations. And Odermatt, as experienced as he is, knew exactly where to go in that situation. So this is crucial now. This contest is crucial in the middle. Can't allow South Belgrave to get a quick clearance.
All of a sudden, the game changing complexion. It's opened up. South Belgrave with a 21-point lead through some Lee Odermatt brilliance. And again, winning the clearance for South Belgrave is Forbes. His kick was partially smothered in the back. Surely a free kick to the Saints. I think offender on that occasion was Lovett, and the recipient looks as if it'll be Dario. So he's 70 metres out from goal for the Saints. Gets the hand pass off to Risley. Sends a long probing ball into the forward pocket. Guess who? Guess who at the mark? Great body work. Lee Odermatt takes a chest mark. He can go back and kick his third in a matter of 3 minutes.
Man of the moment.
And it's fourth for the game, wouldn't it?
Yep. Sometimes it just takes. There are some players in this competition that can just bust a game open in such a short amount of time, and Lee Odermatt has done that year upon year.
He knows the cameras are on him in this game, and he's stepped up to the occasion. Lee Odermatt, 20 metres out, 45-degree angle.
He's missed.
I've pumped him up too much. He's missed to the right. Only a minor score. South Belgrave 4-6-30. Lead Ferntree Gully 1-2-8. 17 gone. Eastland scoreboard. Let's head around the grounds for car sales.
Yeah, 10 minutes into the second term between Baldwin and Vermont with a 2-goal lead. Brett Eddy dominating, apparently, according to the word down at Baldwin. And in Division 4, Surrey Park with all the momentum against Forest Hill. They lead by 20 points.
22-point margin. Thanks, Tim, out here. Ferntree Gully just trying to get out of that danger zone. They're under a lot of pressure, a lot of forward pressure. Connolly did really well. He spotted up Lee Odermatt. Probably kick only went about 4 metres, but the umpires paid it. And we're right behind him here. And you know what? If you're confident and you're having a purple patch, you'd be silly not to go back and have a ping here, but it might just be beyond his range.
And he's missed 3 set shots and got 3 snaps, so I'd be playing on.
Well, and maybe even going on the right to see if he can better his last 2. He comes in now. Odermatt kicking it to the spot. Probably the high percentage play. Smith over the back there got worked underneath it, and he's been paid the free kick as well, Michael Smith. He'll go back and have a shot 20 metres out directly in front.
He was actually pushed out of the contest as he was going for the ball. Ferntree Gully backman didn't have any eyes on the ball whatsoever then.
He actually did a fantastic ballet pirouette, Brash, because he might have got like a fingernail on his neck there. I think he worked that beautifully. Michael Smith, one of my all-time favourites, comes in. He'll make no mistake, and he puts it straight over the goal umpire's head. That's goal number 5 now for South Belgrave. 18 and a half minutes into this second term. 5-6-36 to 1-2-8. There wasn't much in that.
There wasn't, and but that is the issue with Danny Diazio. Sometimes he just gets a little bit too physical at the wrong time, and that was a poor choice of action, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. It wasn't that he was terribly undisciplined, but he didn't need to just give him that gentle shove at that time.
Tickle.
A tickle.
Overzealousness.
Well, 3 goals in the last 5 minutes see South Belgrave open up a very ominous advantage. They lead it by 28 points. Back in the middle, Diezzo wins the tap for Ferntree Gully. Can he spark the Eagles? Trying to break through his Yonkers, almost holding the ball. Umpire allows play to go on. Dario got the hand pass away to Risley, who sends a ball inside the forward pocket. Over the head of Odomat, the intended target. Good evasion from Connolly. Got the hand pass away while avoiding a tackler. The Ferntree Gully defence under a heap of pressure at the moment. Aitken is in the bottom of the pack, as is his teammate in grey, and forces a stoppage. 30 out from the South Belgrave goal.
Well, it's Ferntree Gully Smalls that have got to start getting involved, because they're not getting their hands on the footy at all.
Congested forward line, great leap from Robertson. Third man up in the ruck contest. The Ferntree Gully defence on the last line as a high ball is sent in the Sertzikos direction. Good courage in the end, couldn't quite take the mark. Kalisperis tried to keep it in play, he was unsuccessful. We'll have a throw in right on the 50 for South Belgrave.
East Ringwood by 7 points over Doncaster East in time on out at Zerby's Reserve in another low-scoring game. Diesso looping handball over the back. Here's a chance now for the Gully. Can they go up towards the wing position? You just got to hit up those targets. Petrarca took it on the chest, dropped it, had Costa right on his hammer, and we'll have a ball up. Let's go to Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds. Thanks to car sales.
Yeah, Doncaster extending their lead against South Croydon. They lead at 40 to 23, and in Division 2, Heathmont well up against the Basin. They lead it by almost 40 points.
Diesso took it from the stoppage, got dispossessed. Kidd tried to get the handball away. He was quickly wrapped up. Diesso again trapped it. Then Kidd wrapped up. It's like an echo on myself there, as we'll have a ball up here out at true centre wing position.
Yeah, look, he's worked hard though, Kidd, in and under.
Hyde throws it up. Diesso, second effort. That was good to Kidd. It's like there's a 2-player ball game out here at the moment as a handball comes out towards that man again in Kidd, sees it over towards the boundary line. It took 3 Eagles to bring him down, and we'll have a ball up just inside the paint, just inside Peter Farrell and the Ferntree Gully coaching team.
People like Don Henley takes 3 Eagles to bring him down. How about that for a leap from Robertson in the ruck contest? He's been flying high all afternoon as South Belgrave with the clearance from the stoppage once again. High ball towards left half forward. It's an open forward line. Claimed there is Lovett. As a consequence, Dario can go for a stroll. Kick towards goal. It slews off the side of the boot to the left.
Oh, no,
it does a leg break. It does a leg break for a behind.
And look, that just showed his inexperience. And he got the ball and headed off. Odomat was on the inside of him running clearly, just needed to give the handball over the top, and that was a running goal then.
South Belgrave 5-7-37, lead Ferntree Gully 1-8 late in this second term on the Eastland scoreboard, as the umpire allows proceedings to recommence once again. Ferntree Gully on the last line of defence. Blizzard is the designated kicker. Looks towards centre wing. It's a nice long kick and well marked by Curry. Flying high in the pack, and he moves the ball on quickly for the Gully. Kick towards left half forward. Good transition of play across the corridor, and the mark is taken inside 50. Uncontested by Seward. He can go back and have a crucial shot on goal 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
He's got to kick it, doesn't he, Brash? Because he could have gone on with it then.
And Curry's got to try and find a way to get into the contest a little bit more. He's a big man. He's got to try and influence a few stoppages now.
Crucial kick in the context of the game. Jake Seward from 45 metres. It's on line, but it doesn't quite have the distance as it's rushed through for a behind. Ferntree Gully 1-3-9. South Belgrave 5-7-37. Let's head around the grounds thanks to car sales.
Big upset brewing in Division 1. It's Muralbark leading Lilydale comfortably at half-time. 6-4-40 to an inaccurate Lilydale 1-6-12.
Well, if you listen to pre-game, I'll pick them as the kick comes in at the moment, as it comes out now. Big fly there by Blizzard over the back there. The Saints, they've got the numbers. Here's Bretner on the right boot, drives the ball inside forward 50. It's a race towards the line. Leading that time there was Noops, and he sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
One of the things that South Belgrave have really done is they've taken the run out of the Ferntree Gully back six, and they've not been able to set up any play further down the field.
And look, that ball over the top is exactly what needed to happen. And beforehand, that was tried to be a spot-up kick, which ended up going nowhere.
Pye throws the ball in now. Curry got a fist on it. A little boot there by Connolly. It's been mopped up, though, by Ferntree Gully there. Barton Smith on the right boot. Gets it out of that danger zone. Got pretty valuable purchase on that. And over she goes for a boundary throw-in. 1377 SEN Plus right through till 6 p.m. today. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. It's South Belgrave flicked the switch for about 5 minutes or so and just opened this game right up. They lead by 28 points 24 minutes into this second quarter as Curry has the front spot there at the forward ball. Nicely done there by Kidd of the Aiden variety, but quickly met there by Seaward, and we'll have another ball up.
So back in motion again. Condor wins the tap for South Belgrave, utilising his physical presence. And Seaward was wrapped up. He kicked the last score behind for Ferntree Gully. And we'll have another stoppage. 55 out from the Saints' goal. Condor wins the tap once again. Good communication with Liam Kidd, who sends a high ball inside the 50. Working from behind there is Robertson. Forced the spoil. It was illegal on that occasion. And the free kick will go to Hayden Lovett for the Eagles.
I don't mind that, though. He had an impact on the contest there. I'll tell you what, Curry has got to be a lot more physical in ruck. He's got a foot on Condor and he can't get close to him.
So Hayden Lovett plays on, sends the hand pass to his teammate in Seaward as they work it methodically to centre half back, and the mark's taken by Russo. So Ferntree Gully just need to hold on to the football and slow down the tempo to an extent as the mark's taken at centre wing by Farrell, just chipping the ball around. And the mark taken by Seaward in the position he had it as a matter of 90 seconds ago. Looks laterally to left half back. Mark taken by Blizzard. Looks towards centre wing. And Ferntree Gully probably doing the responsible thing in the shadows of half time. Just holding onto the ball, forcing a pedestrian tempo to stifle the South Belgrave defence. Although it is frustrating to watch, as indicated by the size of the background, as Lovett takes the mark, right half back for the Eagles. Chips the pass. It's kick to kick at the moment. Blizzard trying to break away through the corridor as the mark's taken by Chris Waldron in the long sleeves. Tried to take on Liam Kidd. He said, "I'm not letting you through, son." And as a result, Lovett tried to break through. Good tackle applied there by Sam Brown. That was silly play from Ferntree Gully. Ball up, true centre wing position.
They had nine possessions in a row, clear mark kicks, and didn't move forward at all.
Minus 10 yards then, I thought.
I think Chris Waldron had a bit of confidence about himself. The Gully win the clearance. A high ball towards centre half forward. Farrell forced the spoil. It's at ground level. Brown trying to break his way through, paddling it to his advantage across half back for the Saints. He's claimed. Still a chance for the Eagles. Can they score a late goal before half time? Russo. Eventually it's shuffled out. Chance now for Kalisperis. Swings it round his body. A dinky little pass into the forward pocket. South Belgrave have the numbers. Milivojevic tried to break through, and eventually the ball should end up out of play, and we'll have a ball in deep in the Ferntree Gully forward pocket. 28 points the margin, 27 minutes gone in this second term. South Belgrave's favour on the Eastland scoreboard. So Diezzo wins the tap. Can the Eagles snatch a late goal? They need it. He's swung around in a 360 motion. Umpire calls play on. The spearing ball forward is intercepted by Seaward. Sends a long ball inside 50. Trying to trap the ball is Buckingham. He was unsuccessful. At the bottom of the pack is Cormac for South Belgrave. Forces a stoppage deep inside his defensive 50.
At the moment, Gully just don't have a forward that can become influential, have they?
No.
Inside the last minute of this second term. Still a chance for Ferntree Gully. Clear space here for Farrell. Shoots towards goal. Tried to work it from right to left. It was a helicopter punt, and it's through for a minor score. Ferntree Gully 1-4-10 trails South Belgrave 5-7-37 in the shadows of half time on the Eastland scoreboard. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, in Premier Division, whoever was putting in the scores for the Rowville Noble Park game must have been typing them wrong on the score centre, because that was incorrect, the score I read out before, because at halftime it's Noble Park leading by just 5 points, 5-3-33 to Rowville 4-4-28, and halftime in Division 1 it's Upper Ferntree Gully leading Bayswater at home 4-7-31 to 2-4-16.
Sends up a salivating clash next week for the Queen's Birthday encounter in Premier Division. South Belgrave move it through the corridor towards centre half forward. Good body work and reading of the play from Dupes, who was good in the early part of the game for Ferntree Gully. Kicks at centre half back, looking laterally, finds his teammate Buckingham, who evaded a couple of would-be tacklers. Kicks into the corridor. Mark not held for the Gully, but it's well picked up by Seward. Sends a raking hand pass forward to Waldron. Long running shot towards goal. It's a vacant square, but only a behind, and the forwards weren't happy. They had space. Ferntree Gully 1-5-11, trailing South Belgrave 5-7-37.
At least they worked a little bit harder than Ferntree Gully to move the football a bit quicker.
They still trail on the scoreboard. The Eastland scoreboard by 26 points. Into the dying seconds of this first half. South Belgrave exerting their influence on Division 3. As it's taken away by Withers, who hacks it towards centre wing for the Saints. Odermatt caught behind, and the siren blares to see out the first half, which ensures that South Belgrave are in a commanding position. 5-7-37, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11 by 26 points at the major break in the top of the table Division 3 clash at Wally 2 Reserve. Amongst the goal kickers, Lee Odermatt opened it up in that second term. He's booted 3 to his name at this point. Singles to Michael Smith and Liam Kidd. And for Ferntree Gully, their sole goal kicker is Daniel Diezzo. We'll take a break on EFL Game Day. You're listening to our coverage on 1377 SEN Plus and streaming live on EFL.org.au.
The Kids Edition with Daisy. And you're clear. 4 minutes.
Gerard Waitley, prominent player agent Tom Petroro believes a mid-season trade period is coming.
My preference would be probably 2 years away so that we could plan and prepare for it. But they are talking about it, so is it next year, is it the year after? I think it needs a bit more work.
I'll be back Monday at 9.
Powered by a 100% Australian electricity and gas retailer. That's Red Energy. Switch today. The BMW Ultimate Sale event is on now at Doncaster BMW.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stocktake sale, which means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stocktake sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness. Watch the best of the best strive for championship glory. Golden State Warriors or Toronto Raptors. Which team will be crowned NBA champion?
The NBA playoffs. Expect greatness.
For the full final schedule, team updates and game previews,
Go to NBA.com/playoffs. Listen live on NBA Now via the SEN app.
ROBOT, robot building supplies.
Sometimes in footy, going through the motions, players can feel like a robot.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Sorry, robot.
I can kick goals from 50 on my opposite leg.
No, you can't. But robot building supplies can save us time and money. Steel sheeting and stumps.
Robots got it.
Wire mesh, roofing and timber.
Robots got it.
Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. Robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
Robot building supplies.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say, and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24 and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
From where you are to the game. From the game back to where you were.
30 seconds.
Melbourne's first motor scooter rideshare service is here. More nimble, more affordable. Scooty is the new, safe, greener, easier way to zip your way through inner city peak hour. Next time you're out and about, jump on the back of a Scooty. Download the Scooty app and book a ride.
Waitley, Monday from 9 on SEN.
Let's head.
Okay, here we go. Putting your mics back on. And go.
Welcome back. EFL Game Day right here on 1377 SEN Plus and streaming live around the globe on efl.org.au. You're listening to the top of the table clash in Division 3 between Ferntree, Gully and South Belgrave. A battle between two sides in opposite ends of the spectrum in this game and also geographically. One on top of the mountain, one on the foothills. And at the moment, it's the side on top of the mountain doing just that in this first half. South Belgrave 5-7-37, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11, a 26-point advantage. And it doesn't look like Ferntree Gully are going to get a major score on the board anytime soon. Before we dissect the first half, we'll head to our car sales around the groundsman in Tim Fitzsimons with some interesting scores that you need to know right across the Eastern Footy League.
Yeah, thanks, Damon. I'll start in Premier Division. It's Doncaster leading South Croydon. So Doncaster having a disappointing start to the season, but they're looking the goods at the moment against South Croydon at half-time. They lead 7-4-46 to South Croydon 4-6-30. Vermont leading Balwyn. Brett Eddy, 3 goals in that second term, I hear. Who's taking the game by the scruff of the neck there. 6-9-45 leading Balwyn 3-7-20-23. 25, sorry.
Yep.
My maths is not as good as yours there, Damo. Half-time with Rowville Noble Park. I mentioned that just before the break. It's Noble Park leading by 5 points, 33-28. On to Division 1, it's Doncaster East trailing East Ringwood. So good first half there for East Ringwood. They lead 5-3-33 to 4-2-26. Upper Ferntree Gully leading Bayswater at Upper Ferntree Gully. So another bit of an upset brewing there as well. 4-7-31 to 2-4-16. Park Orchards, Wanturna South in a very tight one. Scores level at half-time there. 5-3-37 apiece. As we move on to the final game in Division 1, it's Mooroolbark and Lilydale, which I mentioned just before the break as well. Bit of an upset brewing there as well. Mooroolbark 6-4-40, leading Lilydale 1-6-12. In Division 2, it's Heathmont leading the Basin by 37 points at half-time. And in Division 4, it is Surrey Park leading Forest Hill 6-5-41 to 4-2-26. So keep them scores coming in around the EFL. And Davo, your tips from pre-game not looking too good early on. I think mine are about the same.
Well, the only thing I've got going for me at the moment is that there's a draw. So I haven't lost on that one.
No one has, yes.
So, yeah, look, it's... there's a lot of close games, but they're certainly pretty tough to pick, which is exactly what you want when you've got the division structure that we've got at the moment. You don't want to have a situation where every game is easy to pick. So it's good to see. But today, at the moment, South Belgrave opened up a good lead in that quarter through clearance work from the middle. They had 4 clearances in a row, which resulted in 3 goals, and all of the clearances meant that the ball was put into dangerous positions quickly, and Odomat was able to capitalise twice really well. So, and then the rest of the quarter went back to what we saw in the first quarter, which was fairly defensive structures from both sides, I thought.
Well, it was a tale of the tape in that first half, Brash. Ferntree Gully probably a little bit undisciplined in the way they cleared their defensive zone. Kicking across goal laterally, if you're in that situation, it's a cardinal sin to do so if you don't hit the target. And there were many occasions where they put themselves in a vulnerable situation.
Yeah, they did, Damien, and that's partly because of the forward pressure that the South Belgrave forward six have been putting on them to try and create turnover. I think that the other thing is too, I did say this just as the quarter was finishing, was the fact that I'm very worried with the way Ferntree Gully are trying to move the ball outside, out of their back line, but they're not able to hit a target further down the ground for them to make any sort of impact into their forward 50. I would think they probably only had 3 entries in that quarter in that forward 50, and albeit for very limited scoring opportunities. I think too, I've always thought, and just by looking right throughout the year so far with regards to Ferntree Gully, my mind always comes back to the fact is they can't kick a winning score. They don't seem to have the forwards that South Belgrave have, or the options to kick a winning score.
Well, it is that depth quality, isn't it, that South Belgrave have over Ferntree Gully at this point. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim Fitzsimons, more updated scores.
Yeah, some big clashes out in Division 2 that will definitely shape the top 4 out there. One of the big ones is Templestowe against Ringwood, and it's Ringwood leading by 29 points at half-time. So big comeback there from the Redbacks after a slow start to the season in a clash that's really going to shape that top 4. And another one, Baronia, who have had a pretty disappointing loss last week, had some players back into the side today, but they are only just leading Mulgrave 5-5-35 to 4-5-29 at half-time. So Mulgrave starting to show a bit after a season where they haven't really done so at all.
Yes, and Baronia looking vulnerable once again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we go back to Ferntree Gully and their movement of the football. I don't mind if they're going to switch the football, but what they're doing is they're doing a double switch. So they're going a short inside to centre half forward or just back of centre half forward, and then they're moving to the next kick out, which allows the defensive players of South Belgrave to get across and cover them. If they go one kick across, it opens up and allows the forwards to then lead around and make get a little bit of space. But that's what they're doing wrong at the moment. It's just too easy for South Belgrave to clog it up.
Just going on from Davo's point of view, but I don't think Ferntree Gully's players have got the kick, enough strength in their kicking to play that switch. To play a switch, you've really got to have good long kicking ball skills.
Well, South Belgrave by 26 points at the half in the top of the table Division 3 clash over Ferntree Gully. Can the Eagles come back? We'll find out after this on EFL Game Day right here on 1377 SEM+.
SEN Footy streaming live and
Clear, 4 minutes.
You're home, it's KB in the dock.
Nathan is out there dodging traffic. G'day, Anthony.
Nathan's out there dodging traffic. Good day, Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
Does that make sense?
Anthony. Andrew. Yes.
Have a crack at Nathan again, Doc.
I'm struggling with names today, right? Thanks for that, Wayne. Ryla.
No, that was Gozza. You're going great with names.
For Ace Gutters, Australian made, built to last. And On Deck, small business loans approved in hours. Apply now on deck.com.au.
KB in the dock, back Monday from 3.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Tyre Power Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stocktake sale, which means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stocktake sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
The 2019 Toyota AFL season is nearing halfway, so don't miss your exclusive Round 11 AFL record.
Featuring teams, stats and facts in your expanded matchday section.
In this week's record, senior writer Ashley Brown speaks to emerging Collingwood star Brodie Myercheck about his rise from VFL ranks to performing on the big AFL stage.
And
new each week,
form line stats. How your team is travelling.
Don't forget to grab your AFL record this weekend. Still just $5.
Thanks to Karcher, official 2019 partner of the AFL record.
When you're a tradie, time is money. And that makes it time to head to Robot Building Supplies, because Robot's got it. Steel, sleepers, wire mesh, timber, roofing, and more at the lowest prices. Like Corrie Roof Sheeting Zinc, in stock at $8.90 per metre, colour also available custom cut. Save time and money with Robot. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. Call 1300 GO ROBOT or robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT Robot Building Supplies.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say, and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour terminal parking for just $12. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For 45 and everything in between, Melbourne Airport parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
Do you hold a current full Victorian motorcycle or scooter licence and want to earn some extra cash? Scooty! Melbourne's new two-wheel taxi service is here. And right now, Scooty is looking for motor scooter drivers to beat Melbourne's traffic congestion and get people to the
15.
Sign up at scooty.com.au today and turn your motor scooter into a money-making machine. Scooty. Delivering people.
Breakfast with Gary and Tim. Weekdays from 6 on SEN.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to put the mics back on.
For your footy.
And go.
Welcome back out to Wally Chew Reserve. It's Division 3, 1v2 today across the Eastern Football League. In what has been a week of pretty changed conditions in Melbourne. The summer seems like it has ended, and we are back to the doom and gloom of winter, although the rain is holding out. South Belgrave lead Ferntree Gully 37-11 at half-time. The third term is about to get underway. It's been a pretty close tussle, albeit from a 2-minute burst from South Belgrave. Here's Damien Watson for the third term.
Start of the second half at Wally 2 reserve. And Diezzo wins the tap. Can he ignite his Ferntree Gully side? South Belgrave win the clearance through a quick kick from Condor, Diezzo's opponent, towards half forward. The Gully have the numbers. A good tackle applied there from South Belgrave's Darcy Wallace. Forces a stoppage. Sertzakos was at the bottom of the pack. So South Belgrave lead it by 26 points. It's between half forward and centre wing for the Saints. Umpire Pulley sets it in motion once again. Condor wins the tap. His opponent Diezzo roves his own footy, however, with the hand pass to Sertzakos. Goes backwards to go forwards. Quick kick out of the pack from Crocker was partially smothered. And a chance now for Dareo to try and capitalise for the Saints. And a good tackle applied by Walsh once again, or Darcy Walls, and we'll have a bounce 55 out for the Saints goal. So the crowd starting to emerge out of their cars. So 26 points, as I said, in favour of South Belgrave. Quick kick out of the pack is intercepted by Smith. True centre wing, poor kick towards centre half forward. Missed his intended targets completely, and the Gully can work it off centre half back. So the Eagles trying to work it forward once again. through Barton Smith. Chip pass to Diezzo at right half back. And they're working it methodically through chip passes. We noticed that late in the first half to counteract South Belgrave's streaming ball through the corridor as Barton Smith marks it once again in the same position. He retrieved the ball about 30 seconds ago. Chip pass into the corridor was terrible. Intercepted by Cotterley. Now the Saints can work it forward on the counter attack. De Rayo spoils the ball, leaves the door open for Brown, who chips towards goal. And South Belgrave, they're putting the foot on the throat now. They move on to 6-7-43, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11. Early stages, third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, if you're going to chip the ball inside, you've got to hit a target. That's the key. It's no good going with these small chip passes if they're not going to hit the target. And really, the first ball that they had should have been a roll-on, kick long, because you've got Curry at centre half forward. At least give him a chance to take a mark.
Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, some Premier score updates. Just recapping them halftime scores. It's Doncaster leading South Croydon 46-30. Vermont 20-point leaders over Balwyn. Blackburn in a high-scoring clash over Norwood 54-52. Noble Park leading Rowville 33-28. And Montrose leading North Ringwood. Good to see Montrose having a bit of a lead there at halftime, 28-23.
Great stuff there by Tim. He's Yonkers inside forward 50. Mopped up at the back here, so the chance for the Eagles to get out of that dangerous space here. So it's good there by Sertzakos up towards the wing position, but it's been chopped off. Across the ground they go now as a long looping kick, and it hit the target nicely there where Connolly out in front. He's had a good game, Connolly, and he speared the pass straight down the throat of Lee Odermatt, who's kicked 3 goals already. He's just outside 50, but he'll go back and have a shot here, no doubt.
He will, and there's the difference. Burley got the ball, kicked at 45 as a switch, and they were able to turn inside. Nice pass to Odermatt.
So Lee Odermatt, the clubhouse leader for the top 2 goals of the day, winds up now, gives it everything he's got. He curled it back, Buddy Franklin style, just for that extra purchase, and pushed it to the right hand side. Minor score is the result, 3.5 minutes into this second term, and it is a very healthy 33-point lead. Let's go around the grounds. Thanks to car sales. Here's Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, just recapping them Division 1 score updates at half-time. It was East Ringwood leading Doncaster East by 7 points. Upper Ferntree Gully leading Bayswater 31-16. Park Orchards and Wanturna South in a deadlock there, 37 apiece. Mooroolbark leading Lilydale by just under 5 goals.
Well, Diezzo sent a clearing ball towards centre wing and pushed over the boundary line Taylor Buckley with some superior body work from the South Belgrave midfield, and we'll have a ball in between half-forward centre wing for the Saints.
I think Ben Haddock's day is over. I've just seen him walk out of the change rooms and he's all wrapped up, and unless he's going to the snow, I don't think he's any chance of him playing this afternoon.
Well, we're not far from the snow here at Ferntree Gully. The kick inside 50 for the Saints in the Odermatt direction. He's against 3 players, tried to pick it up. That's a throw against Lover. Umpire didn't see it. Eventually it falls out to Crocker. It's inside the defensive 50 for Ferntree Gully. Barton Smith looks laterally with the switch across his defensive goal face and finds Aitken. Aitken towards right half back. Sertzakos takes the mark, chips it towards centre wing, and the mark taken out in front by Michael Top as Ferntree Gully trying to gain some sort of momentum scoreboard wise. Chip pass towards half forward, didn't hit the intended target in Russo, and as a consequence the Saints can move it forward on the counter attack. Slip through the fingers, chance now for the Saints at centre half forward. Working forward is Brown, kicked the last goal, long ball towards full forward. It goes across the face and trickles over the boundary line deep in the forward pocket for the Saints, who lead it by 33.
You can almost see South Belgrave are starting to run on top of the ground here, Dave. It just seems like a matter of time here, doesn't it?
It does, and look, Ferntree Gully did a lot of things right then. They moved the ball nicely then, but they just gave it up at the wrong time.
Just missing the targets at the end of the day. They have the right idea. Diezzo wins the tap. It's the hand pass out, slapped out of the pack by Buckingham to no avail. It's intercepted by Withers. South Belgrave working across their half-forward line. Risley looks into the hot spot, finds the intended target in Lee Odermatt, who takes the mark, and he can go back and have a shot for his 4th, 20 metres out on an acute angle.
He needs to play on. He's missed every single one of his set shots so
He
far.
wanted to play on there, didn't he?
I know.
The umpire said, go back over your mark, son.
3 goals, 3 he's kicked Oders.
So Lee Odermatt, he's been A focal point up forward for South Belgrave this afternoon. Shooting for his fourth. A deliberate approach. 2 steps. Shoots towards goal and he sneaks it home. He's got his fourth, Leo Odomat. And South Belgrave continue on their merry way. They move on to 7-8-50, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11, 6 minutes into the third term on the Eastland scoreboard. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, just recapping the Division 2 halftime scores. It's Baronia leading Mulgrave by 6 points. Templestowe trailing Ringwood 15 to 44. Heathmont leading the Basin 46 to 9. And in Division 4, it's Coldstream 91 leading Croydon North Emlock 38. Sylvan leading Kilsyth 82 to 34, and Surrey Park leading Forest Hill 41 to 26.
Great stuff there, Tim. As the ball comes out, Cox trapped it. He was quickly wrapped up by Liam Kidd. Umpire wants it back. So, Leo Odomat 4 goals today. First set shot goal, which was good. It looked like he'd been given the baton in a relay and he was charging towards the other end when he took that mark. As the chance now for the Saints. Smith, he's been good today. Michael Smith kicks it up towards the half-forward line and hitting the target there nicely as they go forward now. Inside they go, just across the face of the 50. A little push out wide, which was Tiggy Touchwood at best, but free kick going to Jimmy Buckingham. Avoid the back chat. Brad Bully doesn't want a bar of it.
He's reversed it.
He has reversed it. So
going to Connolly.
Well, actually, it should have been a free kick to Connolly anyway. I think I've called that wrong, and I'll call that out there because a little bit of an elbow to the face type situation there. Connolly, who I've also been impressed with today. Big fly by Lee Odomat. And I tell you what, if there's a standout player at the moment, and it's certainly Lee.
It certainly is.
Yep, without a doubt. And the way he's going, he's doing a bit of a Brett Eddy as far as turning the game on its ear within a half of football.
Not much you can do about that. He was the main flyer, eyes only for the football. That is a very impressive mark as well.
He's just a class above everyone here.
He knows it's a radio game too.
He's had the haircut.
He's evergreen, isn't he? 4 goals. Will he make it 5? I tell you what, he might have just worked this one back. There, it's a 2-finger salute. 5 goals to Lee Odomat on the Eastland scoreboard. And South Belgrave, well, the question now beckons, how much will they win by today? Because I'm calling it. It's game over out here. 56 plays 11.
I said 48 points, and I'm going to be way off the mark.
I think the thing is at the moment is what do we see from Ferntree Gully as far as
that's the most
some
important
fights? They really need to stop this. Otherwise, this could be a really big loss.
Well, it's a rout at the moment. Back in the middle, South Belgrave by 45 points. Diezzo's been valiant in the ruck, and he can win the clearance here as he taps it forward, almost a throw to Crocker, who sends the ball inside 50. A chance now for the Eagles to gain some respectability. Good tackle applied by the South Belgrave defence on Matty Petrarca. The umpire didn't call holding the ball. Will have a bounce 40 out from the Eagles' goal.
That was great defensive tackling, though, but Petrarca hit the ball at pace, which was good.
Tap one by Walls for South Belgrave. Swung around the body. Smith gets the hand pass away. That was clever ball use to Withers. South Belgrave moving on the attack once again. Odomak, Dicky, little soccer off the ground. Looks towards left half forward. Breaking through is Robertson. Nice hand pass. Great evasion. Brilliant play from Forbes. And South Belgrave, they are absolutely capitalising at the moment. 9-8-62. Leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11. 10 minutes gone third term on the Eastland scoreboard. Declan Forbes with his first.
And the difference there was the movement from half back to quick hands, run behind, long kick, smart kick from Odomat, and that was a very nice goal.
Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Timmy.
Vermont starting to get a lead here on Baldwin. They lead 51 to 26, 5 minutes into the third. Another big game in Premier Division. South Croydon now leading Doncaster. Good comeback from South Croydon, 49 to 46. And in Division 4, it's halfway through the third term. Surrey Park 7-6-48 lead Forest Hill 5-2-32.
Great stuff there, Tim Fitzsimons. Keep us up to date via Twitter out at the grounds today at Footy EFL. Today's broadcast brought to you on 1377 SEN Plus, and of course streaming live around the globe with the footage, efl.org.au. Simulcast on Radio Eastern 98.1. The umpire has called for a free kick. It's going to go the way of the Gully from the stoppage. It'll be Curry. Looks like he wants to give the handball away. Winds around now on the left boot, up towards the half-forward line. Petrarca was in the back spot there. Probably got into the back of his opponent. umpire said that's exactly what happened, and the free kick will go to Milovjic. Short passes on, coughed it straight up though, so Gray was there to take it. There's still 2 kicks from home. That's better. Kick it to percentage. Diesso was there. Big fly over the back that time there by Burley to cause the spoil. Happy to see it over the boundary line was Milovjic, and we'll have a boundary throwing.
Yeah, look, nice play there by the Gully, but still can't hit a target in their forward 50.
And on there by Milovjic is a quick kick from the stoppage. Goes out of bounds.
And
once again,
their small forwards are not working hard enough. The ball's gone into the area, but when it hits the ground, South Belgrave have been able to rebound it far too easily. Not enough pressure from the small forwards at the moment of Ferntree Gully.
Well, Diesso basically had a fresh air shot, got chance for round 2, got a tiny little boot to ball. Charging in there was Riley, got bumped off the contest, mopping up the pieces and doing well. There was Stein on the left boot out towards the wing position. He was looking for Odermatt, but the mark was safely held there by Lachlan Young.
So Young works backwards once again. That's been the tail of the tape so far for Ferntree Gully. Hasn't quite been executed well, and once again Buckley conveys that, missing and fumbling the ball, and as a consequence South Belgrave work it to half forward where it's taken by Brown. Chip pass inside 50, and the man of the moment, Lee Odermatt, takes the mark, and he can have a shot from centre half forward almost directly in front.
Exactly the same thing again, Dave. I sound like a parrot. Just the way that they turned the ball over on that half-back line from the switch.
Yeah, look, it was clumsy football at best, I think, to explain that.
Brown has been very good for South Belgrave.
He has, yes.
Particularly in this third term. Lee Odermatt booting for number 6. Can he capitalise here? It's off target, only a minor score. Didn't quite make the distance in the end. South Belgrave 9-10-64, routing Ferntree Gully 1-5-11, 13 gone, third term, Eastland scoreboard.
Well, Curry needs to lift, Lovett needs to lift, Waldron needs to lift. They need to get some better players getting the football, Ferntree Gully.
So Barton Smith played it out. Big fly over the top there by Robertson. Hit the deck. Ball still alive. Stein used his body well. Was wrapped up there by Curry. Loose handball comes out now and needs a chance. Milovovic got the handball away to Odermatt. Snaps around the body. He doesn't like the set shots. Maybe he can put this one through to the top of the goal square. It's only 20 metres out now for the Saints. Second effort was very good there by Connolly. You heard Brash laughing, but I tell you what, it was impressive. Not as impressive though as Dario kicks his first goal of the afternoon. 13. Make that 14 minutes tick over on the Eastland scoreboard, and it's who can get amongst it now for the South Belgrave side. They'll remain undefeated, there's no doubt about that. Very big lead, 69-11.
And the difference there was that their small forwards worked really hard to keep the ball in. Tell you who I do like, I really like this Jay Robertson.
Yeah.
I know we talk about his flying, but he's only a young kid. They've had to throw him in the ruck because they've had it going off. And I reckon he's been really competitive. I like what he's been doing around the ground as well.
Speaking of around the ground, let's go around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim.
Yeah, Doncaster East with the first goal of the third quarter against East Ringwood, bringing the margin back to 1 point. And in Division 3, it's Warrandyte leading Glen Waverley Hawks by 5 goals, and the Waverley Blues leading Donvale by 4 goals.
Ooh, Curry
Tips
went up in the ruck. Curry went up in the ruck in place of Diesso, and as a consequence, Ferntree Gully could try and work it forward at centre wing. Hand pass goes back to go forward as far as Barton Smith is concerned. Looks towards a centre wing position. Crocker couldn't quite take the mark. The kick was askew in the end. Still at ground level. Curry tries to burrow in using his tall frame to advantage. But in the end, South Belgrave numbers win out. Liam Kidd was taken down high according to the umpire. And he'll be the recipient of a free kick on centre wing as things get a little willing out there.
Yeah, well, they're getting frustrated, the Gully, because they can't get their hands on the ball. They can't create enough inside 50s to kick even a goal.
It was a high tackle against Diesso. Liam Kidd from centre wing. Ferntree Gully converging the numbers back across their half-back line with a wall. So Kidd is forced to go laterally to the opposite wing. Mark taken by Stein. Looks towards left half forward. The bounce was fortuitous for Brown. Tried to slap it back to his teammate at Odermatt, who was taken down. Brown burrows in once again to claim the second effort. Still a chance here for South Belgrave. Robertson, they work it backwards with the hand pass, and the kick will go long towards centre half forward. Where's Odermatt? At the back, Connolly, is he going to be paid the mark? No, umpire said man in front. It'll be a Ferntree Gully ball deep in their defensive zone.
No, Brown for South Belgrave. He's been in everything in this third quarter.
So the Eagles under siege at the moment, trailing by 58 points. The kick goes short to centre half back, and the mark's taken by Michael Topp. And again, the Eagles trying to utilise the small, methodical kicks forward and back, but they're not really gaining much meterage at the moment. Lovett kicks across his defensive goal face to Crocker, who looks towards left half back. The kick again missing the target. Just the lack of poise there towards Buckley. As a consequence, South Belgrave move it forward. Kidd with the hand pass to his brother Liam, and the chip pass inside 50. Good combination from the Kidd boys, from Aiden to Liam, and it ends up in the arms of Daniel Cormack, who can go back and have a shot from almost directly in front.
Once again, they didn't panic under pressure, even when they didn't have the ball. South Belgrave, they gained it, made sure that they made every pass count, and there was lots of poise there. Ferntree Gully should be taking note.
Daniel Cormack will be kicking from about 45 metres out directly in front. It comes back from right to left, and it's hit the woodwork, so only a minor score. South Belgrave, they move on to 10-10-70, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11, 8 gone, or 17 gone third term on the Eastland scoreboard. Tim Fitzsimon, thanks to car sales.
Yeah, Vermont starting to flex their muscles out of ball, and they lead 69-27. Eddie has 5. Could he go back-to-back 10s? And Ainger has 3 as well. South Croydon now leading Doncaster by 13 points, and it's already three-quarter time between Heathmont and the Basin. Early game there, and it's Heathmont all over the Basin. They lead 70-10.
Well, Cormack, he mopped it up across the half forward line, and he spotted up Sam Brown in the forward pocket, who's already kicked 1 goal this afternoon and will go back and try and put through his second. Expect this to go right through. I'm backing him in, and he makes no mistake. So 2 goals for the afternoon to Sam Brown. We've called him out early in this quarter that that whole forward line, that whole half forward line, centre line has really stepped up today, and we're calling that out for South Belgrave as opposed to the back line, because the ball just hasn't been down there too often because of the strength that they've had in taking control of the contest.
And not only that, but it's been the fact that they've put pressure on. If Ferntree Gully are going to continue to get the ball and go backwards, it allows South Belgrave to settle up and size up and structure up across the back half, and they just can't get the ball out. Just because they're moving the ball in the wrong direction.
It's getting ominous now, that scoreboard. As ominous as the dark clouds at the moment over Ferntree Gully. 65 points the margin. Curry wins the tap for the Eagles. Besieged upon there was Cox by a couple of Saints, and we'll have a secondary bounce in the middle.
And when you consider that South Belgrave's average winning margin's 100 points this year in a game.
They have been dominant and comprehensive, that's for sure. Trying to break through the pack is Yonkers, who we haven't seen much of since quarter time. A bit of push and shove at the background. The umpire will take control here. It'll be a Saints free kick, you would think.
Well, there's a bit of a melee happening here.
Yeah, nothing too aggressive. The umpire's got the book out, though.
They're just having a chat to each other.
Yeah.
I think umpire Pulley's reaching for the yellow card, and it's coming out, and that's against Ashley Yonkers, so he's been sent off the ground, shaking the head. But at the end of the day, the margin is probably beyond doubt anyway. He's got a bit of a wry smile on his face.
He's probably thinking there's probably about half a dozen other guys that should be joining me.
Probably wouldn't make a difference to the scoreboard either.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lovett got one as well and he's come off at the same time.
Yes, well, the umpire just trying to take control here. Let's go around the grounds with thanks to car sales in the interim. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, so another key forward in Premier Division also strutting his stuff today. Lee Williams, 5 goals so far for Norwood, and they have a 4-point lead early in the third term over Blackburn.
Yes, Lee Williams, a man who's been in relatively good form so far this season. A 25-metre penalty has been awarded, so Sertsakoff, the recipient, will kick it towards right half forward for the Gully. A sliding mark almost taken by Petrarca, couldn't quite find it, and South Belgrave's weighted numbers win out. Risley got the hand pass away, and the kick comes towards centre wing. Diving in for the football there is Jake Kidd, and he's claimed to ground. Will have a bounce, true centre wing position, outer side of Wally Chew reserve.
Yeah, he really needed to take that, and if he had, they would have been right away again. So, but a poor option going deep and wide into the forward line for Ferntree Gully.
Into time on in this third term on the Eastland scoreboard. It's the Saints by 65 points as we have a secondary bounce from the original stoppage. Curry going up in the ruck for the Eagles. Probably has to utilise and exert his physical presence a lot more around the contest as the ball is in dispute once again at ground level in the scrimmage. Breaking through, well, it's been the tail of the tape so far today. The South Belgrave midfield dominating. The kick towards centre half forward. Odermatt, great body work once again. Wanted to go for the hand pass, but thought, no, I'm in good form here. I'm going to go back and shoot for my half a dozen.
Well, we've never seen one on tape anyway, so why would you do that?
No, like, he tells us that he's done it a few times over his career, but I've never seen it, so...
It's funny, isn't it?
We did just talk to him about that on EFL Inside only a couple of weeks ago, but 5 goals already.
Leo Odermatt directly in front, 45 metres out. Can he finish off the half dozen? Yes,
Nice.
he can. It joins in the celebration. South Belgrave move on to 11-10-76. Make that 12-10-82 to Ferntree Gully. 1-5-11, 22 minutes gone third term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And that's where they are dangerous because, you know, even though he's 35, 36 years of age, I believe, Otis, he is so dangerous in that area because of the length of kick and his strength and his running ability. And really, while we might have a joke about it, he is a really...
He's class.
He's a classy footballer in this competition.
Absolutely stepped up to whatever team or division he's ever played in as well. So back in the middle we go. 1 goal to Ferntree Gully, and that was in the first term to Dan Diesso, which was a classy one. But I tell you what, they need to hit some scoreboard pressure here. Condor, handball out wide. This is okay. Withers inside forward 50, top of the goal square situation. He was looking for his teammate there in Connolly, who had the back spot that time. So Ferntree Gully a chance now to relieve themselves. Sertzakos hit his target, then receives it back. So still across that defensive zone. Will go for the switch, which is a risky one. Nicely chopped off there by Kidd. Well done there by Lovett, but he coughed it up there that time. Dario got the handball away. Here's Liam Kidd. He's kicked one. He would love to. They're just doing everything right at the moment. That's a one-step kick from 45. Over the goal umpire's head she goes. South Belgrave, 23 minutes into this third term. 88 plays 11.
That was the turnover to the kick inside again.
Yep. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to Car Sales. Tim.
Well, we've seen him do it before, Lilydale, with a big comeback last year in the final series, and they're on track for another one if the third quarter's anything to go by. They've drawn the margin back to 10 points. They were down by 5 goals at halftime against Murrabak. It's 7-5-47 to 5-7-37.
Based on that game, have you seen a sway between quarters and a wind advantage out there, Tim?
No, because Murrabak had the best of them in the first quarter. They led by 2 goals at quarter time and then 5 goals at halftime.
Very good.
Seaward tried to break clear. We'll have a secondary bounce from the stoppage. Liam Kidd, hasn't he been brilliant with his tackling, pressure and ball use?
Yes.
Condor's been good in the ruck too. Good strength.
Well, Condor won the front position in that ruck contest. Tried to force it down to a couple of teammates. Cox intercepted, but he was wrapped up. We'll have yet another bounce in the middle. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. 1377 SEM Plus and streaming live on EFL.org.au as Diesso wins the tap for the Gully. Sertzakos was wrapped up in a bear hug tackle courtesy of Walls, and we'll have a bounce through centre wing position.
Well, I reckon Ferntree Gully have lost their grunt in the midfield where they lost Edwards and Jai Goodman. They don't have that run through that middle anymore.
South Belgrave by 77 points on the Eastland scoreboard. Diesso tried to find options backwards with the hand pass, but his kick was smothered. Risley kicks it towards half forward for South Belgrave. Brown through high, couldn't take the mark. Trying to break his way through for the Gully is Cox. He's unsuccessful. Going in for the football once again is Brown, and we'll have yet another bounce. Centre half forward for the Saints. It's just been a dominant display. Certainly exerting their presence on Division 3 football. Diesso wins the tap to Cox once again. Sends a hand pass back to centre half back, and the chip pass again intercepted. In front there of Farrell, and now Forbes breaks away for the Saints. Onto that probing left foot towards Odermatt, who's caught behind on this occasion. Ferntree Gully utilise their weight of numbers. Forbes receives the hand pass. He's taken down in a superb tackle there by Cox, who's been valiant in this third term, and he can clear the defensive zone for the Eagles.
Tried hard.
Yeah, and received the handball from Odermatt, so we need to call that one out as well. So back in the back pocket for Ferntree Gully, just trying to clear the ball out. Just had a score come through. Doncaster East to kick 3 quick goals through Stephen, Summers and Locke, and they lead by those 3 goals against East Ringwood out at Zerby's in time on in the third term. Keep the scores coming through. Tim Fitzsimons, he's working feverishly around the grounds. EFL, at Footy EFL, and you've got some at the moment.
Yeah, got a couple of three-quarter time scores in Premier Division at South Croydon. Big third quarter there, 5 goals to nothing against Doncaster. They lead it now 65-48. And in Division 4, it's three-quarter time, Surrey Park and Forest Hill. Surrey Park leading 61-38.
Big third term there by South Croydon to answer the challenge, which was clearly very hefty by Doncaster.
They needed it too, the South Croydon boys.
I think Luke McCormack might have had a few quiet words with them at half-time.
Yeah, one of those ones you'd pay good money to be a fly-on-the-wall situation. As the ball comes back in now, it's down Ferntree Gully's forward arc. We haven't seen it too much in there thus far in this term. So Walls now for the Saints squeeze to kick out, and they're going to link up as they've done so well. Forbes got the handball away. Here's Stein now on the left boot. Kicks the ball. It's a floating one. Inside forward 50. But it's the Gully that have the numbers. Looping handball out towards Crocker, who will use the wing position. It's a one-on-one situation over the top there. McCormack did well to cause the spoil over the top of Jimmy Buckingham. And over she goes for a boundary throw-in.
And that's the problem. If you're going to kick the ball to someone, you've got to put it in front of them. You just put it too high, too easy for the defender to defend that ball, and another opportunity to go forward missed.
Car sales around the grounds with Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, big third quarter from Bayswater, 5 goals to 2 over Upper Ferntree Gully. They've turned a 15 or 17-point deficit at halftime into a 4-point lead. 2 goals to McNerney, singles to Loco, Bryce Galvin, Miller, Searle and Callanan.
So Diezzo wins the tap and got the hand pass away. Probably tapped it to himself on that occasion. Lovett's kick towards centre wing. Intercepted again by a South Belgrave wall of midfielders. Bretner tried to break his way through. There were a couple of eagles on his hammer, and it's forced out of play. Almost true centre wing position on a dark day for Ferntree Gully.
Yes, certainly not what you'd want with your home ground advantage, but they've been just too good, South Belgrave.
Diezzo flicked it round the back nonchalantly in the end. Lovett almost knocked out Dario. We'll keep an eye on that as Ferntree Gully move it towards the centre of the ground. Going to fly high and poised for the mark there was Stein. Got a fickle bounce but managed to regain it. Bretner received the hand pass and eventually it's tumbled forward for the Saints towards centre half forward. Ferntree Gully have the numbers across their half back line as it's kicked away by Seward again, missing the target on that occasion. Crocker got the hand pass away, utilised his support across that half back line and received it once again with the 1-2. So Crocker kicks it towards centre wing. Russo presents and takes the mark out in front. Back to where we started a minute ago.
Yeah, look at what Ferntree Gully do when they get in the back up. They automatically go sideways, which I think they just read it too easily, South Belgrave, with that.
That's right, and they're just missing their targets, and it's conveyed once again straight down the throat of a South Belgrave opponent as the siren sounds. Robertson taking the last mark of the quarter, and the siren sounds ominously and gloomily for Ferntree Gully. They trail at the final change by 77 points. South Belgrave 13-10, 88 over Ferntree Gully 1-5-11.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast here on SEN Plus 1377, streaming live around the globe on efl.org.au. If you're out and about around the eastern suburbs, there are 21 other great games as you go local for your footy today. Keep us up to date at Footy EFL via Twitter. Well, it's all done and dusted out here, but let's see if Ferntree Gully can win this final term. That's what they'll be looking for, and we'll make sure we keep everyone up to date with all these around the ground scores because they're all important. It's round 8 in the Eastern Football League. We'll be back right after this.
The Kids Edition with Daisy Pearce.
You clear 4 minutes.
News happens, you'll hear it on Time On.
The cashed up Western Bulldogs have put together their hit list for this year's trade period, and I can tell you that Isaac Smith is at the top of it. One down from him in second position is the prodigious Gold Coast talent Jack Martin. The Bulldogs are going after outside run and class in Smith, and a man who knows where the goals are and a whole lot more in Jack Martin.
Time On with Sam McClure, weeknights from 6 on 11:16 SEN. Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Hello, I'm Mia for the Family Peace Foundation. Mum and Dad talked about family peace at the dinner table the other night. We all agreed to do our best, our very best, to be kinder to one another. To be kinder in what we say and to be kinder in what we do. It's only been a few days so far, but I've got to tell you, this week has been fantastic. Family peace. Do it for your kids.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles have done it again. We've smashed our everyday low prices on tile adhesives yet again. Yes, effective immediately. National Tiles Grants RB100 is just $13.75 per 20 kg bag every day of the year. This unprecedented everyday low price for RB100 at just $13.75 will save tilers thousands of dollars per year. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
Hi, Craig Lowndes here. I may be an expert at wrestling a supercar around a racetrack, but I'm not an expert on tyres. That's why when it comes to my family's safety, I rely on the expert advice I get from the team at Tyre Power. I know that the tyres Tyre Power recommend for my family's car will not only be the right size, they'll be right for local conditions and right for my budget. That's just another reason why I get the power at Tyre Power. Seriously, why would you buy your tyres anywhere else?
Wouldn't it be nice to have a robot at home to mow your lawn and wash the car? At least you've got Robot Building Supplies at work. Steel, sleepers, wire mesh, timber, roofing and more. Robot's got it at the lowest prices, like square and round tubing in prime and gal. Starting from $14.70 for 20 by 20 by 1.6 prime tube 6.5 metres long. Robot, Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. Call 1300-GO-ROBOT or order at robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
At Melbourne Airport, you can get 1 hour...
1 minute.
Try it. It makes it easy to greet your loved ones when they come home, or give them a proper send-off. You can also park for up to 3 hours for just $24, and 1 day for $51. That's cheaper than a taxi to and from the city. For warmer welcomes, proper goodbyes, and everything in between, Melbourne Airport Parking is here to get you there. Visit melbourneairport.com.au.
From where you are to the game. From the game
30.
They're with Scooty. Melbourne's first motor scooter rideshare service is here. More nimble, more affordable. Scooty is the new, safe, greener, easier way to zip your way through inner city peak hour. Next time you're out and about, jump on the back of a Scooty. Download the Scooty app and book a ride.
Waitley.
Okay, here we go. Putting mics back on. And go.
Welcome back. About to commence the final term in our EFL Game Day Match of the Day. The top of the table clash between Ferntree, Gully and South Belgrave in Division 3. And it's fair to say Wayne Brasher and Brett Davidson, it's been somewhat of a fizzer at the moment. South Belgrave 13-10-88, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11. Just a solitary goal for the Gully in their home game as well. A disappointing showing. That came in the first term through the aid of Daniel Diezzo. We'll head around the ground shortly for car sales with Tim Fitzsimons for some updated three-quarter time scores and progressive scores. But Brash and Davo, it's just been a rout. What are Ferntree Gully doing?
Well, look, yeah, I think that the biggest problem is Ferntree Gully don't have any structure. That's for me. That's where it all starts. They have they don't have a structure that's going to win them a game of football. I think what's happened is South Belgrave have done their homework on them. They've just basically reduced Ferntree Gully to a back six game, Davo.
Look, they have, and one of the disappointing... I suppose the biggest issue when you look at it is that South Belgrave, since the first quarter, have been on top at the contest. So once they've got their hands on the ball at the contest, they've been able to get it into the forward line. They've had repeat 50 entries a number of times, which has enabled them to hit the scoreboard. Ferntree Gully, when they get their hands on the football, they actually do okay for maybe 2 or 3 kicks, and then they go backwards all the time or slow the ball down and don't allow the ball to get into it can't get separation in their forward line. That's been the issue.
The Ferntree Gully huddle dispersing after a long spray from Peter Farrell. Let's go around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, in Premier Division, it's South Croydon leading Doncaster 65-48. Vermont leading Balwyn 77-46. 17 minutes into the third quarter between Norwood and Blackburn. It's Norwood with an 8-point lead.
Whoa.
Rowville and Noble Park. It's Noble Park with just the 1-point lead at 3/4 time, so a great contest there. In Division 1, it's Doncaster East leading East Ringwood by 3 goals. We heard BWS mentioned just before 3/4 time. Bayswater and Upper Ferntree Gully. It's Bayswater with a good third quarter there to take the lead by 4 points. Park Orchards leading Wanturna South by 4 goals, and Knox leading Croydon by 34 points.
Start of the final term at Wally 2 Reserve, and a familiar tale at the moment. South Belgrave winning the clearance. Risley's kick was smothered. It's still at the centre of the ground as Risley tries to burrow in once again. He's got possession. Gets the hand pass out to his teammate Jake Kidd. Still the ball in dispute. Diezzo fires out the hand pass. A good tackle applied there from the Saints in Aidan Kidd, and we'll have a secondary bounce in the middle. South Belgrave by 77.
Diezzo still worked really hard, even though he hasn't been as influential as the first quarter.
Almost a secondary ruckman in that contest. Curry went up for Ferntree Gully, but it's South Belgrave with the clearance through Stein, who sends a long probing ball inside 50. Odermatt received a fickle bounce. Leading in the race for the ball was Dupes. He was claimed. The South Belgrave Crubbers are coming in and converging through Kidd, who sends a ball to the hot spot, and the man in front, Sam Browner, who's been excellent since half-time, can go back and have a well-rewarded shot on goal from directly in front, 30 metres out.
I reckon he had over a dozen touches in that third quarter. Brown really got them going with that first goal in the third quarter. Looks like he could do the same thing again here for South Belgrave in the final term.
Sam Brown shooting from 30 out directly in front. Deliberate approach, makes no mistake. Straight as a die, and South Belgrave have been as straight as a die in their approach this afternoon. The Saints 14-10-94, leading Ferntree Gully 1-5-11. Early going final term on the Eastland scoreboard.
And the discipline there was when they got the ball, they put it into a dangerous position, and the forwards knew that was going to be the case, and that's why they were in front. It was an easy mark and kick for goal, and that's the structure and the composure that you need, and that's what Ferntree Gully haven't had today.
Keep the scores coming in as you're out of the grounds across the Eastern Football League. 3/4 time right across the east at Footy EFL via Twitter. We'll keep you up to date. Tim Fitzsimons will chime in here, there and everywhere throughout this final term out here, as it's an 83-point lead to the top of the table, the undefeated Saints. Ferntree Gully, they haven't kicked a goal for over a half now. They need something. Nicely done there by Liam Kidd. Got the handball away. Down the corridor they go up towards the half-forward line. It was pushed out wide. It was a nice little knock there. Scooped upon nicely there by Waldron. Sold a little bit of candy as well. That was clever. Then squared it up towards centre half forward. Falling over at the crucial state there was Callisperis. Out wide though, the Saints, they just take their time. They've got the numbers. Walls spots up his target there in Adam Stein. Kidd was screaming for it. He's been very lively. Instead, the kick goes up towards Odermatt, who's not afraid to come outside of the goal line. Got it away to Risley. Inside forward 50. Risley goes a big fly over the back and almost pulling it down that time. There was Connolly. The ball hits the deck on hands and knees. There was Young. He keeps it in. Umpire's not going to ping him for that one, and we'll have a ball up 35 metres out directly in front of the Saints goal line.
And you knew what he was going to do. They brought the ball down, kicked the little fat side, perfect structure.
High throws it up. Curry just palmed it down. He needed some support, a little bit of holding going. DeLu wanted to go away with it, but gives it back to his teammate there. Sertzakos goes out wide. He's been very serviceable. Got it away to Blizzard on the left boot. Spots up his target out there. That was good. Barton Smith, another player who's been consistent for Ferntree Gully today.
This is the problem. They just stop.
Yeah, no run. They just don't have any run.
Hits the target up. Once again, Sertzakos, probably Ferntree Gully's best player for mine.
Not a bad pickup.
Drives it out towards, you spot on Brash, out towards the wing position here. Pack does form. Handball goes out, went through DeLu's hands. Still got the numbers here, Ferntree Gully. They kick it forward. Now here's a one-on-one contest. And out-muscling that time, Phil Costa. He looks very, very disappointed in himself, but well done there by Matty Petrarca in front and held it.
Well, it's been a long time coming here for Ferntree Gully. No, if he happens to kick a goal, do we hear the Bronx roar or cheer?
Well, no. Well, you don't also have to respond to people who aren't on air, Brash. So as he comes in now, Matty Petrarca. He comes in 40 metres out directly in front. And yes, they do have their first goal in just over a half. Matty Petrarca's solid mark. Good kick on goal. Ferntree Gully had their second 5 minutes into this final term. Eastland scoreboard reads 2-5-17 the home side. Ferntree Gully trailing South Belgrave 14-10-94.
And that's the thing, is that he had a one-on-one situation. They haven't had enough of those. He's a smart footballer. Has a good mark, and he's a beautiful kick of the ball.
Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim.
Yeah, in First Division, there's 12 minutes gone in the last quarter, and it's Murrelbach holding a slender lead over Lilydale by just 5 points.
Oh, it's a tight one, isn't it? We'll keep a close eye on that as you go local for your football. Liam Kidd streams away from the clearance, sends a long ball inside 50. Odermatt caught behind on that occasion. A good courageous mark from Chris Waldron floating in from the side. So it's deep inside the defensive 50 for the Eagles. Chris Waldron has made a couple of clangers so far today, but that was a good mark on that occasion. Kick towards centre wing. Too tall. It's probably been evident right throughout the afternoon. South Belgrave's physicality far superior, and a good mark taken by Brad Condor, who's been serviceable in the ruck.
Yeah, definitely.
So Condor just held to a stalemate at this point. True centre wing position. Kicks inside the 50. Odermatt caught against two players. It was a good spoil at the back. Chance at the bottom of the pack from Stein. Kept it in play, but to no avail. There was no help from his teammates, and as a result, the Eagles work it forward, and it trickles out of play. Out of side of the ground at Wally 2 reserve. Will have the ball in almost true centre wing position out of side. Let's head around the grounds. Tim, thanks to car sales.
Yeah, a couple of blowouts in 4th Division as expected. Sylvan leading Kilsyth by 98 points. Coldstream leading Croydon North Emlock by 91 points. But Lee Williams in 1st Division now has 7 goals. Norwood leading by 9 points nearing three-quarter time.
And an updated score from Ray Baird out at Seabeck Oval. Scores are level 7 minutes into the final term, Roval and Noble Park.
Wow. Well, that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. And we'll hear from Ray Baird in our 5 to 6 post-match hour as the mark's taken.
Maybe we'll call him and get him to do play-by-play for the last few minutes.
Just like Peter Baird back in the day, that's right. Kick inside 50 for Ferntree Gully. Waiting at the back and latching onto the loose ball is Bretner, who's been reasonable in the second half for South Belgrave. They work it through the corridor. Lateral pass towards the broadcast wing, looking for Connolly, who takes the mark. Kicks towards true centre wing. It's a one-on-one contest. Brown worked hard to force the spoil. He was caught behind, and it trickles out of play right in front of our Canberra position here at Wally 2 reserve.
But that's how you switch the play. You kick it to the person in front and they get on with it quickly.
Margin still 77 points at this point in time. Diezzo sends the hand pass away, and Farrell, well, it was a skew-if kick off the side of the boot out on the full as the umpire motions that particular free kick, and South Belgrave will work it across their half-back line. So the recipient looks as if it's Milivojevic, who chips it short, and the mark's taken by Liam Kidd. He'd have to be a contender for best on ground today.
Yeah,
very good.
He's in my 3. At least.
So Kidd between halfback and centre wing for the Saints. Chips it high towards centre wing. Backs his tall teammate in Condor to take the mark. Utilised his body brute strength, and he does take the uncontested mark overhead. Off one step, kicks it towards half forward. Big fly at the back from Robertson. Couldn't quite take the mark. Lovett latches onto the loose ball and kicks it again out of the full. The ball skills from Ferntree Gully appalling this afternoon.
Yeah, looking not under all that amount of pressure, really. And some experienced players have turned the ball over way too easily.
There's no doubt about that. The skill level and kicking efficiency has been poor today from the Eagles. Smith, the recipient from centre wing, kicks inside the 50. Big fly at the back from Connolly. Couldn't quite hold the mark. At the bottom of the pack is Lovett, who's been, I think, relatively serviceable in defence for Ferntree Gully. It's been down there a lot. Forces a stoppage in the defensive pocket for the Eagles.
Been serviceable, but his delivery has let him down most of the afternoon, Hayden Lovett.
That's true. Robertson flew high. Still didn't win the tap in the ruck contest. Diezo, as a consequence, breaks away. The look-away hand pass did eventually come off, and the Eagles move it forward towards centre wing from right half back, but there's no one there. The Saints set up a wall through Bretner, who's keen to move it on. He can go backwards to go forwards here. Chips it back to centre half back, and the mark's taken by Phil Costa, who we haven't seen too much of this afternoon.
Oh, well, you haven't had to, because the ball hasn't got down that far enough.
Chips it short. Mark taken by Aidan Kidd. Bevy of kids out on the ground today.
That's a beautiful kick, actually, that one.
Yes, a pinpoint pass finds Michael Smith, who's been excellent, particularly since half-time. Between half-forward and centre wing, sends the ball long into the pocket. The Eagles have the numbers at the back. The tall timber through Curry, sends a clearing ball, hacked onto the boot towards centre half-back, and the mark is taken by Lovett. So Lovett chips it short. The centre half-back, besieged upon there is Seward, and the umpire's picked out a free. It's going to Seward for a high tackle, and he can try and relinquish the ball. It has been that story so far for Ferntree Gully. Gets it back from the 1-2, kicks it towards centre half forward.
Nice.
But gee, that was brilliant evasion from Yonkers, who's back on the ground after that indiscretion in the third term. Kick inside 50. Good spoil at the back from Young, and it's out of play inside the 450 for the Saints. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, Vermont dominating now against Baldwin. They lead by 56 points, 7 minutes into the last. Eddie has 6, 13 goals to 4 since quarter time. And also South Croydon holding Doncaster goalless so far since half-time. They lead 84 to 46.
Very much Tim Fitzsimons around the grounds.
Gee, Doncaster's season just can't get any worse, can it?
They look promising at the start of the game.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost a version of Statement Day, isn't it, as well? Again, we mentioned it last week, Vermont and South Belgrave today. So knock goes forward, it's scooped upon nicely there by Blizzard, switches it across to Buckingham. So from side to side, it was a little bit indecisive, and then the kick was a scrappy one up towards the wing position there. So made his teammates work pretty hard for that, and nicely done there by Seward. Got the handball away up towards the half-forward line. Here's a go for the Gully. Will the ball sit up this time favourably? You'd hope so for Farrell, who is beaten by the paint. Plus, he also had Bretner right on his hammer. Over the boundary line she goes. Tim Fitzsimons, thanks to car sales around the grounds.
Yeah, not a good day for a Collingwood fan. Freo getting the job done over the Dockers, over the Pies, I should say. Walters with a goal late again. Davo's not a happy man next to me.
Not happy.
So
deja vu.
That's Collingwood fifths playing in the EFL.
handball out wide. South Belgrave trying to work themselves forward here. Through they go. So just always pretty much have the answers, don't they? As the kick by Stein goes forward now. Bouncy football. It might go all the way. Tell you what, I was about to get up out of the seat. And through it goes for a minor score. Eastland score by 12 minutes tick over in this final term. South Belgrave, they've almost hit the ton. 14-11-95. They lead Ferntree Gully 2-5-17.
I don't think have they had a game where they haven't hit the ton?
No.
They've been very comprehensive and relatively free-flowing in their play. The way they transition the ball through the corridor has been excellent today. Love it. Kicks towards centre half back, but again, South Belgrave have the answers, forcing pressure on the Gully defenders. It's just kicked off the ground on the last line by Blizzard. Players appealing for deliberate. Nothing forthcoming from the umpire. We'll have a ball in the Saints' forward pocket.
I don't think we have. Do we have deliberate?
Well, they were appealing for it.
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do. Cause
never called it, and that was the definition of deliberate.
Without a doubt.
Aided Kids tackle will have a bounce inside the 450 for South Belgrave. So umpire Pulley.
It's actually a really good question, because I've never called deliberate paid in the Eastern Football League, but can't just say that it's not a rule. I presume it's obviously not.
Well, the players were appealing for it, so it's interesting. Cormac's kick into the forward pocket. Chance for South Belgrave once again. Withers from the pocket, I believe, has kicked the goal. And South Belgrave, well, they are just ramming it home. In fact, it was Cormac around the corner. And South Belgrave hit the ton. 15-11, 101, leading Ferntree Gully 2-5-17, 13.5 gone final term on the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, that's they did that far too easily again. But again, it's because they're running hard, they're running into position. Their small forwards have done a really good job there, and that was a nice goal from a difficult angle.
But it's like they just want the ball, South Belgrave. They just want it more.
Oh, look, it is difficult at the moment. If you're Ferntree Gully, you know you're going to get beat. You're just waiting for the clock to run down, and you know the other team's on a roll, and they want to score as heavily as they possibly can. So it becomes difficult to force yourself to be.
You know, the loss here for Ferntree Gully may drop them down to third this afternoon.
84 points the margin on the Eastland scoreboard. Diezzo wins the clearance for Ferntree Gully. Utilises his physical presence to bustle his way through and kick it towards left half forward. Top worked his opponent under the footy. Trying to break away is Gray. He's unsuccessful. Umpire blows the whistle and it's holding the footy. The South Belgrave tackling pressure has been superb and the free kick will go the way of Smith.
It's interesting, Diezzo's playing as a ruck rover now, and they're actually tapping the ball to him.
He's tapping the ball to himself on occasions too. It's been that sort of game. Chip pass marked by Stein. Right half back. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Timmy?
Yeah, we've got a final score in Division 1 and a huge upset.
Yes.
Tipped by BWS, I hate to say before the game. Murrelbach 9-7-61 defeating Lilydale 6-12-48. So an inaccurate Lilydale. They came back in the second half, but Murrelbach too good in the last quarter.
2 in a row for the Barkers.
Yes, I wonder if Mullet was on the end of a number of goals there. He's been excellent all season. Tackle is applied on Waldron on the half-back line for Ferntree Gully, and the umpire will call for a bounce between centre half forward and the middle of the ground for the Saints.
It's a big smile on BWS's face. He's not gloating yet, but that's a good call.
There's an element of I told you so, isn't it? As Diezzo passes it to Sertikos through the hands, and the kick towards right half forward. Taken away by Farrell. His hand pass was intercepted. Well done by Liam Kidd, who's figured prominently this afternoon. A chain of hand passes comes unstuck as Diezzo affects the tackle between half forward and centre wing for the Gully. Will have a bounce.
Saving my I told you so's for after the game, because about 4 of mine versus you guys today are going to get up. Updated score out at Zerby's. Over 4-goal lead now to Doncaster East in the final term as a kick goes forward here to South Belgrave. Leo Demat takes the one-hander, takes off to the races and just dribbles it through. Goal number 7 to Leo Demat on the Eastland scoreboard. Well, it was just as easy as you like at the end of the day with that. 16 and a half minutes gone, 107 plays, 17 at the moment. It's a 90-point lead.
He's got 8 minutes to kick. He's 3 for 10. That's what he's got.
Well, you never know. He's probably on track at this point, given the way he can enter games and spark it up within the space of a short time. We saw that in the second and third quarters, where he had purple patches, kicking a few goals within a few minutes. Back in the middle, 90-point margin on the Eastland scoreboard in favour of the Saints. Curry wins the tap, but no one at ground level to be the recipient as Hancock sends it forward for South Belgrave. Condor, in fact, it was towards the centre half forward area. Tackled was Sam Brown, who's been excellent since half-time. The umpires picked out a free kick. It's going the way of Ferntree Gully, and they can repel from their centre half back position as Diezzo takes the mark. Call play on. Chips it laterally towards the broadcast wing, and the mark's taken by his teammate Lockie Young.
It's almost like they're programmed.
Yeah.
Just kicking it back and forwards across that centre half back line. Mark taken in that position by Barton Smith, who's been serviceable enough since half time, and the mark has been taken by Blizzard.
He's gone the wrong way.
Oh my God! I don't believe it. It's in the full-back area. Gee, even the Ferntree Gully players have lost their orientation, ladies and gentlemen. Mark taken by Lovett. You can tell they've lost interest now. It's marked between half-back and centre wing by Seaworth, and the kick towards centre wing. Well, it's become farcical at the moment for Ferntree Gully as Diezzo forces it over the line in front of our broadcast area.
Talk about Keystone Cops, my God.
I think even his teammates had their outstretched arms out going, what on earth is going on here? Well, the ball in dispute, Liam Kidd and his teammate in Aidan Kidd forcing a tackle, and we'll have yet another stoppage. True centre wing position.
There's just too many kids in this side, mate.
That's it. But they're not playing like kids, that's for sure.
No, they are not.
Umpire Pulley sets us in motion once again. Curry was worked underneath the ball, and the retrieving ball is taken by Aidan Kidd, who sends it inside 50. Blizzard was stripped of the football. Still a chance for the Saints. Withers pounces on it and was taken down in a crunching tackle. The umpire's blown the whistle, picked out a free kick. It's going the way for Ferntree Gully for a holding on decision off the ball, and the recipient looks as if it's Ricky Aitken. So Aitken from centre half back. South Belgrave lead it by 90 points in the top of the table Division 3 clash against Ferntree Gully here at Wally 2 Reserve on EFL game day as Blizzard kicks it to centre half back. There's no support for the Gully at the moment. Curry sends the hand pass back to his teammate in Seward, and the ball is kicked towards the centre wing area. Sertzakos diving in for the football against his opponent in Cormac, and we should have a stalemate. Ball up on the true centre wing position out of sight.
Well, the way they play is a little bit like a training drill. They get the ball and they go and handball to a spot and then kick to a spot and handball to a spot. It's not as if they're reading the game and playing the game, Ferntree Gully at the moment.
Well, the free kick's been picked out for Ferntree Gully. It's going the way of Curry, who was a late inclusion to the side this afternoon, and a 25-metre penalty for boot, maybe for a bit of back chat there.
I think he was going to go backwards again, and the player anticipated went over the mark.
Well, they've been hot on that particular element of the game, the umpires. Chip pass finds Diezzo at centre half forward, who's been serviceable enough for Ferntree Gully, and that's a good raking kick inside 50. Found the intended target, and the South Belgrave defender in Smith appealing for a push in the back. Nothing forthcoming from the umpire, and the recipient will be Michael Top, shooting for Ferntree Gully's third major.
22-minute mark in the final term, Roval and Noble Park. The Hawks lead by 2 points.
Oof. That'll set up an interesting encounter next week. Queen's Birthday clash. Noble Park and Bullwinners. Top shoots for goal, and he converts straight over the goal umpire's hat. Ferntree Gully have their third major on the board. 3-5-23, trailing South Belgrave 16-11-107. 84 points the margin on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. In fact, the Eastland scoreboard.
Well, that's what happens when you get the ball in quickly to a forward.
Yeah.
So a nice low, quick kick, and Top was able to take a nice mark and a nice conversion, that one.
Into time on in this final term. Around the ground scores coming through at Footy EFL. Make sure you tweet us through on Twitter if you're at a particular game, just to ensure that we have all of the around the ground scores, and stay tuned for that wrap up between 5 and 6 p.m. on our coverage this afternoon. Diezzo again trying to rove the loose footy, but it's South Belgrave winning the clearance from the centre of the ground as a kick falls inside 50, and the high flyer in Robertson, probably a little more composed on that occasion, just stayed at ground level, took it on the second bite, and can go back and shoot for a quick reply for the Saints directly in front, 40 out.
Good play for the future, this Robertson, I think, for South Belgrave.
Definitely, I like him. I like the way he goes about his football. He's enthusiastic. He's got a leap on him, and if he gets it right, he could destroy some sides.
Robertson
deserves a goal as well.
Certainly does. Shooting for South Belgrave's 17th major, directly in front, 40 metres out. The Raw tells the story. It's through the centre, and the Saints move on to 17-11-113, leading Ferntree Gully 3-5-23 by 90 points, 22 gone final term Eastland scoreboard. Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, we've got a final score in 4th Division. Surrey Park getting the job done over Forest Hill, 11-9-75 to 7-6-48. So that'll definitely shape that top 4 in 4th Division.
Big win there for Surrey Park. That's a big win for them.
No doubt about that, given the form that they've displayed so far. Tim?
And also in 1st Division, Lee Williams has just kicked his 8th goal, and Norwood now with a 4-goal lead in the last quarter, 7 minutes in.
That's against Blackburn, I believe.
That's against Blackburn.
Well, that is an interesting result.
96-79 is the score out there at the moment.
Yes, given Blackburn are challenging for that flag in Premier Division at the moment. As the ball's back in motion once again, we should have a secondary bounce as Yonkers is claimed. Ray Baird's getting excited out at Seabeck BWS.
Well, I'm putting it on Ray Baird that he might need to call the last few minutes, and I think he might have accepted it, so stay tuned on that one.
Oh, we'll look forward to that as Yonkers is taken down in a tackle, and the umpire making the adjudication that it was holding the ball, so the free kick going the way of Barton Smith.
Do you think he's capable?
I'll say yes. I'm in support and will back in the great man as he chips the pass to Top. So Michael Top kicked Ferntree Gully's last goal a matter of 3 minutes ago. Was only their third for the day. Kick towards right half forward. Spoil comes from the back from the South Belgrave defence. Costa flying high there to force it out of play. So 55 out from the Ferntree Gully goal. Where to from there? How do you pick up that morale if you're an Eagles coach, Britt Davidson?
Oh, look, it's difficult. They're lucky they got a week off now. So, they've got the week off. They can regroup. They'll have a look at who they've got to play from now on. No good worrying about South Belgrave, because they're on the way up and no one's going to knock them off in the near to distant future.
Well, let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, huge second half from South Croydon over Doncaster. Final score there, 15-15, 105 to Doncaster, 8-7, 55. So a very disappointing second half there for Doncaster. And Baldwin v Vermont, 22 minutes into the last quarter. Vermont, huge second half as well from them. They lead it by more than 10 goals. So last year's grand finalists doing extremely well today.
And Baldwin led late in the second term, did they not?
Yes, they did. They were leading in the second.
Wow, what a second half from the Eagles. They certainly can put their foot on the throat when required, as the ball is wrangled in the centre wing position here at Wally 2 reserve. Good tackle applied by Liam Kidd. So a bevy of results coming through across the Eastern Football League as you go local for your footy. South Belgrave by 90 points in our match of the day here at Wally 2 Reserve. Diezzo got the hand pass away. The Gully try and work it forward through Lovett. It's in a confined space as Gray forces it out of play.
Let's cross out to Seabeck Oval. It's Rowville taking on Noble Park. It's very close. Ray Baird, you're right there. What's happening out there?
Earth to Ray.
Trying to cross out there to Ray Baird out at Seabeck Oval. In the meantime, chime in whenever you can, Ray. Ball hits the deck. And we will have another ball up. 25 minutes gone in this final term. It is very deep in the final term. Right across the league, what scores are coming through, Tim?
Huge upset. Probably, definitely I would call it an upset. 1 point win to Upper Ferntree Gully over Bayswater. 9-16, so they weren't very accurate. 9-16-70, but still too good. 10-9-69 Bayswater.
It's another one, Davo. Hashtag just saying as the ball goes forward. Towards the half forward like Deleu was there. Nicely chopped off there by Cormac. He got dispossessed of the football. Bretner, when charging after a ball hits the deck, and as the ball's in the forward line for Ferntree Gully. Let's cross out to Seabeck Oval. What's happening out? No, it's Noble Park taking on Rowville. Score update there, Ray Baird.
After Ray, come in.
Okay, we're going to just give up on that situation as the ball now for South Belgrave comes in up towards the half forward line. They're surging forward. The kick goes goalward. This might go all the way. It goes through for one behind. Eastland scoreboard, 114 it is. South Belgrave, they lead Ferntree Gully to 23.
91 points the margin in the Division 3 top of the table clash. So Ferntree Gully will be licking their wounds over the mid-season break as Lovett brings it back into play for the Gully towards centre half back. Flying high there for the mark for the Eagles was Young, couldn't quite hold it. The ball's still in dispute. Burrowing in over the pack is Forbes, who was reasonably good, particularly after half-time. That third term he really stepped up and forces a stoppage.
Yep.
So it's 55 out from the Saints' goal, kicking to the quarry end in this final term. Condor wins the tap. He's been valiant in the ruck for South Belgrave. Hand pass comes out from Liam Kidd, who figures amongst the best players on the ground. Cormac soccers it over the boundary line, right half forward for the Saints. 91 points the margin in favour of South Belgrave. 27 minutes gone in the final term on the Eastland scoreboard. We're probably up to the last minute of play. And a subdued atmosphere here at Wally 2 Reserve.
Final score in Division 1, Doncaster East 9-11-65, defeated East Ringwood 6-9-46. Noble Park have kicked a late goal and lead Rowville in the dying seconds.
Wow, we'll keep an eye on that result. We'll bring it to you as it comes to hand as we're in the final minute of this clash here in Division 3. It's at the right half forward position for Ferntree Gully. Petraka, who when he has had the opportunity to get into the contest has been reasonable, has a goal to his name and forces it out of play. 60 out for the Eagles goal. So 91 points the margin. Scores coming through with thanks to car sales. We'll keep an eye on it. Rowville v Noble Park, certainly a tight contest. So it's kicked out of the pack for the Saints in the Brown direction. Chance at centre wing. Diving over the football there for the Gully was Blizzard. has been reasonable across the centre half back position, probably turned the ball over on many occasions, so, and we'll find the stoppage right in front of our broadcast position on centre wing. Well, how do you, South Belgrave, from their perspective, Brash, try and taper their enthusiasm to an extent, because there's still a half a season to go? I don't want to be too exuberant.
I think they're just going to take each week. I know it's an old cliche, but they're going to play each game each week on its merit.
There's the siren. South Belgrave making a statement to the Division 3 competition. They have defeated Ferntree Gully in the top of the table clash by 91 points. South Belgrave 17-12-1-14, defeating Ferntree Gully 3-5-23.
Well, there's been what's happened out at Seabeck Oval is there's been a kick after the siren. Noble Park have kicked a goal and won by 2 points. Final score: Noble Park. No. I've just got that wrong. Rovers kicked a goal after the siren to get back in front. Oh my God, heart attacks to everybody. No, I didn't. Look, have a look at it. Us react, let alone everyone else. 10-13-73 Roval to 11-5-71 Noble Park. What an epic game out there at Seabeck. Old mate coming down here to Ferntree Gully to talk about this game, so we look forward to that.
No doubt about that. Make sure you stay tuned for the 5 to 6 p.m. post-match hour. And we'll have all of the scores with thanks to car sales as you go local for your footy. But in the match of the day today, the Division 3 top of the table encounter, it was South Belgrave by 91 points over Ferntree Gully. Gee, haven't they flexed their muscle? And there's certainly a depth of players, particularly in that forward line for South Belgrave, who shone today with Brett Davidson and Wayne Brasher.
Yeah, look, I think their run was the thing that was most impressive. Their structure's good. They ran from behind. They started to get their hands on the footy. Their close-in hands were really good, and look, they were just far too accomplished for what we have to admit was a fairly disappointing Ferntree Gully display.
Yeah.
But you know, you look at South Belgrave, and they've got an opportunity now. Once they've put a gap between everybody and themselves. So what they do now is that they've got to go back out and they've got to not lose the hunger. And it's pretty easy to say that, but that's what they've got to continue to do. And I think that's what Luke will be talking to them about. You can't get too far ahead of yourselves, but they're certainly outstanding today.
I think the most important thing too, Damien, is this basically is nearly that. Well, each side have played each other now once in Division 3. We're 8 rounds in, and South Belgrave are clearly at this stage of the season the best side in this competition. With Ferntree Gully, I know they were sitting second today, but they didn't look like a team that played second, but that was because South Belgrave didn't allow them. And then you've got Warrandyte, who lost to 10 goals to South Belgrave the previous week. So there is a gap even between the top three.
And they're going to play each other again, these two.
I know, and that'll probably be up at South Belgrave.
Yeah, I would think so, yes.
And it's not a very happy hunting ground for Ferntree Gully going up the mountain.
That's right. If you go back in history, South Belgrave have been excellent against Ferntree Gully in particular on that ground. Just a live score coming through in the Premier Division with thanks to car sales. Dorwood currently lead it by 21 points over Blackburn. Xavier Murphy's just kicked a goal 14 minutes into the final terms of the Dawsman with a 21-point lead over Blackburn, which is a bit of a surprise.
Still time left with 12 minutes. I would think that Blackburn, they won't give up on that contest, but look, Norwood have been threatening. They need to win just to still keeping their finals calculations alive. So look, some interesting results in Premier Division today, and the wash up after between that 5 and 6 hours going to make interesting listening.
Let's hear some more updated scores. Tim Fitzsimons with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, it's danger signs now in the season for Baronia. They've gone down to Mulgrave today by 11 points, 7-10 to 5-11. So Baronia, after a terrific start, we know they've lost a few players along the way, but they're going to be very disappointed. But good to see Mulgrave getting their win for the season. I think it's their first win.
Second win.
Second win for the season.
Yeah, they defeated Scoresby. Let's head to the rooms and the South Belgrave song.
Time away!
song sung with gusto from the winners' room. South Belgrave 91-point winners, flexing their muscle at Division 3 over Ferntree Gully, and they certainly are the team to beat in this competition. We have more around the ground scores coming through with thanks to car sales. We'll keep you up to date as they come to hand. But Davo, gee, it's hard to see who can perhaps banish South Belgrave in any game this season for the remainder of the year, because they have such potency up forward and their scoring power has been evident every game this season.
Not only that, they were exceptional at the contest, I thought, today. I thought once that first quarter was over, where it was a bit of an arm wrestle, they gained ascendancy in the middle, and you've got to remember that their number one ruckman, Ben Haddock, was off the ground before half-time and never came back. So they played one short, but I thought that they had enough players in there that were able to support him. Condor was good, and then the young boy Robertson went into the ruck and he helped out. But I think the only thing that's going to beat South Belgrave is South Belgrave, to be honest. And that can happen in finals. So, because at this stage, we haven't seen a side that's going to really push them. And even in that first quarter, when scores were close, you didn't look like Ferntree Gully were going to take the advantage. You just were wondering when was South Belgrave going to kick into gear.
Let's head around the grounds. Tim Fitzsimons with thanks to car sales.
Yeah, we'll start with Premier Division for some full-time scores. South Croydon, massive second half, 11 goals to 1 in the second half against Doncaster. So they won by 50 points, 105 to 55. Vermont, big win over Balwyn, another great second half. After quarter time, they were dominant, 112 to 67. It is 17 gone in the last quarter between Norwood and Blackburn. You touched on that game before. Norwood tiring, according to Toby Prime, who is out there at the moment. So they lead it by just over 2 goals. Blackburn with the last 2 of the game.
Yes.
As we mentioned, Rowville, after the siren, winners against Noble Park by 2 points. In Division 1, just recapping the final scores there, Doncaster East with a 20-point win over East Ringwood. Upper Ferntree Gully, that 1-point win over Bayswater, which is a massive win for them. And also Murrelbach with that upset win over Lilydale, which means the bottom 2 sides in Division 1 getting wins today. So neither side can push out of that relegation zone. So it's going to make it very interesting that there's going to probably be more than them 2 sides down the bottom at this stage of the year. In second division, we've got Baronia and Mulgrave, as I mentioned before. Mulgrave with a bit of an upset win over Baronia by 11 points. Third division, Whitehorse comfortably over Churnside Park, as you'd expect, by 78 points. And in fourth division, if I just find these scores now, it is Coldstream over Croydon North Emlock pretty comfortably by almost 150 points.
Oof.
And Surrey Park defeating Forest Hill by 27 points.
We haven't heard anything from the Scoresby Mitcham game yet, have we?
Nothing all day. So if anyone is out there, tweet us in at Footy EFL.
That's right.
And Ringwood were well in front of Templestowe, I think.
Yep, that was the last update we heard. The Redbacks in front.
And Croydon Knox,
Knox were, last score we heard, they were about 35 points up, Knox.
Yes.
So certainly when you look at the ladder in that Division 1, there's going to be some interesting moves there, because if we've got Upper Gully beating Bayswater and we have Murrelbach beating Lilydale, if Knox get over Croydon, we know Park Orchards have beaten, I think, Wanturna South.
Yeah.
That puts an enormous log jam from about 3 to about 6 or 7 then, and the bottom 2 suddenly creep up.
And we've also got a final score from that Park Orchards and Wanturna South game. It was Park Orchards getting up by 17 points. So that log jam here, it's going to be very tight in the second half of the season.
They've hit back hard, Park Orchards, since that Doncaster East loss. I thought they looked very undermanned that day, but you know they've gained their mojo back, and they've won 3 in a row now.
Yep. So it's very tight there. Division 2, if we look at that, that's also gone interesting with Ringwood now looking like they're pushing right to the top. Heathmont have come from nowhere, really, and they
were disappointing in that game against Ringwood, and since then
they've been very, very good. If Mitcham, well, we don't know what's happened there today, but if we assume they beat Scoresby, and with Baronia losing, suddenly we've got a log jam at the top. and we've also got a logjam in the middle. So it's a really interesting situation for both those divisions.
Well, Boronia fell from 2nd to 6th last week.
Yep, they've kicked 6 goals in the last 2 weeks overall.
Yeah, so they won't have, and their win and their loss today won't see them moving up the ladder. So they'll be still around that 6th mark, with Mulgrave sneaking up on them, probably 2 games behind them, still in 7th spot.
Yep.
Because they've won 4, Boronia.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I mean, really.
But that makes it extremely hard for Scoresby now. They need to find 3 wins.
Yes, and I think given the results, it will be interesting to see if Scoresby can recover. Let's cross down boundary side. BWS is down on the ground with a player who certainly starred this afternoon, Liam Kidd of South Belgrave.
Yeah, thanks, Damo, and a couple of goals and a fantastic team performance. Liam, it's how much are you enjoying this season so far? Undefeated, the side as well, and the structure, the process, and just following that game plan. Everything's ticking on nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, the boys they've responded well. We had a big pre-season, so obviously a large number of boys coming down to the club, but we've gelled well. We've trusted Luke and Gibbo and what they've brought to the club, and we're playing really well. Good footy.
What did you think at quarter time? It's like it's sort of a day where all of a sudden summer's finally ended at last in June, and then the weather's a little bit turned, and there's pretty low scoring at quarter time. But then the switch was flicked at quarter time, and your last 3 quarters was excellent. What did you need? What did you need to do to that?
Yeah, we knew Ferntree were going to bring it today. Obviously first, second, so we knew the first quarter was going to be hot. But we just regrouped at quarter time, and we just said, let's back ourselves, stick to structures, just keep playing our footy, and things will go our way. And eventually, as it showed, it did, which is good.
Liam, one of the things I've got to be really impressed with is your back line this year. That back 6 looks very settled and very sure of itself.
Yeah, it is. We've had Burls down here for a while now, but the inputs are Smitty and Steiny, just mature heads, so they're directing the young kids. You got Phil Costa playing his role, so all the boys are gelling really well, and they're enjoying it down there.
A couple of young guys I thought today had some good games. Ricardo De Rayo and young Robertson. He looks like a player of the future.
Yeah, he does. So we got Ricky, he's the younger one. Anthony's down the Resies. So, but Jay Robbo's from Oakley Chargers. So it's good to have him down. And yeah, as you can see today, he's very athletic. So it's a promising sign for us.
Doesn't mind having a bit of a fly for a mark either, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's a highlight reel, Robbo. So I'm sure this year you'll see him take a couple more of that.
I would be surprised if he's related to Russell Robertson in any way. What about Lee Odermatt? He was probably, you mentioned that switch was flicked. He probably did flick the switch as far as scoring is concerned in that second term. How important has he been this season to the fabric of the side?
Oh, you can't say much about Lee Odermatt, but he's an enormous player. So, like you said, he's still 37, 38, but I tell you what, he moves just as good as us young boys. So, but to have him down there in the forward line, I can hear him in the midfield talking, the backs can hear him talking. It's just another mature head that we've been needing over the last couple of years, so it's good to have him down.
And it can be very tempting when the game's won to perhaps take the foot off the accelerator and be a little bit laconic in the last term. You've forged a reputation as a side not to do that, to really stick the foot down right up until the final siren. How has that been achieved? I mean, it's a lot more difficult than just saying it. And you guys have performed that in spades every single week.
Yeah, we have. Last week against Warrandyte, we let it slip for about 10 minutes, and we just touched on that at 3/4 time. We can either put the queue in the rack, and maybe they get 5 or 6 goals, and they might be half a sniff. But we said, nah, not today. So let's really stamp it out and make our mark for Div 3 this year, and let's foot to the throat.
And what's the itinerary for the next week or two, given we're approaching the mid-season break? How do you approach that, given the momentum you've accumulated in these last few weeks?
So Tuesday we've got training, just as usual, and Gibbo and Gatesy have given us the Thursday night, which is good. So the boys will get up together and we'll just go out for dinner and that and just relax, and then we've got the weekend to ourselves. So we just thought recover well, do the right things, and then we've got Churnside Park after the bye. So we'll look forward to that one.
Well, Liam, we were told that you actually got netball on Tuesday night. Are you not part of the netball team for Tuesday night, or are you got to do the real training?
Nah, we are. We're going to get around the netball girls, so we're training with them and get everyone included. So it's going well down there. We've got the women's footy on now, as you can see. But now we're a big community club, which is good. So all the boys will be down there supporting the girls and training with them.
Well, good on you, Liam. Thanks very much for giving up your time post-game. Congratulations on a great performance today. Well done. Go and soak it up.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Liam Kidd joining us down at ground level with Ben Warren-Smith. He was a star today. If you want a consistent player throughout the 4 quarters, I know South Belgrave have plenty of starring players throughout the day, but he seemed to stand out.
His work around the contest, especially early in that second quarter, where they needed to get their hands on that ball and get it out quickly. He was instrumental in being able to do that.
The other thing is too, we seem to forget this young man. He missed about 18 months worth of football with injury as well. He was very highly sought as a and was talked about in Rangers terms early on in his career, Davo. But those injuries set him back. But you have a look at him. He just goes where angels fear to tread, doesn't he?
Look, I really like the way he approaches the contest. I like the fact he's got very quick hands. He holds his feet well, and he uses the ball well. And that's something that didn't happen with the Ferntree Gully team. So his ability to hold the footy and use the footy well was instrumental for them getting on top during that second quarter.
Let's head around the grounds with thanks to car sales. Tim Fitzsimons.
Yeah, we've got a couple of final Division 2 scores coming through. Comfortable win by Heathmont. Basin kicking 4 of their 5 goals in the last quarter, but still Heathmont comfortable winners 90-38, and Ringwood getting the job done over Templestowe, doing most of their work in the first half, led by 5 goals at halftime, coming away with a 22-point win. So that's massive up the top end in Division 2. And please keep them scores coming in through Twitter at AFL, as the AFL Match Centre score set is looks like it's not working at the moment, so please get them tweets coming through.
That's it, and make sure you stay tuned for that 5 to 6 hour as we wrap up all of the scores across all of the divisions of the Eastern Football League. Let's head downstairs once again to Ben Warren-Smith, and he's with one of the stars of the show in more ways than one, Lee Odermatt.
Well, 7 goals today, and another great performance by Lee Odermatt, and we just thought we'd leave him hanging and be the second interview, not the first. But it was great to come down here and watch you boys undefeated again now. A powerful display, a very structured and well-organised unit you boys are.
Yeah, like a really good group, very committed group. Like, you look at some of the young players that have come to the club from obviously higher divisions, Steiny and Forbes and co, and they've really brought that to the training track as well. So, it's been a really solid summer, but, we back our system in. The last couple of weeks, Warrandyte and Ferntree Gully come really hard at us in the first quarter. We've been able to weather that storm and then have faith in our system that it's going to hold up and that we're going to be able to crack them open at some stage, whether it's later in the day or whenever it might be.
Lee, it's Davo here, mate. I can see that you have had the haircut done for more votes today. The body's holding up pretty well. Are you looking forward to the mid-year break at the moment? Because you certainly turned it on today and you've had a great start to the season.
Yeah, I got the old 3-week haircut, mate, which is starting to get a little bit famous around the traps, but it just aligned today somehow. But looking forward to the break. I was actually put the cue in the rack at about 7 minutes in, and then a 20-year-old got a bit tight and had to go back on. So
Didn't you want to chase for 10?
No, I was pretty happy looking forward to the break, mate, to be honest. So it's, it's a pretty taxing sort of style of game, the way that even the local footy's evolved these days. We're a lot of running, and you can see the style that we try and play. We're up and back, and, we cover a lot of miles, and we work really hard.
And I think that was one of the most impressive things about today, because it was pretty much a stalemate in that first quarter, but your ability for your midfield to get their hands on the ball early in that second quarter and get it out quickly just seemed to break the game open. Is that exactly what you were looking for?
Yeah, look, we always knew that, they were going to bring it. Like, they're a contender, there's no doubt about that. So, look, we're just starting to get some games into Brad Condor. So, obviously, Big Haddock went down with a bit of a sore neck. So, Brad shouldered a lot of the load, and Brad's a proven entity at the club. He's a really good ruckman. He's a premiership ruckman. And obviously, we've got the prime movers in there with Risley and Liam. And, we've got some guys that are developing in there as well. Like his younger brother, Aiden, it's going to be a star as well. So, we've got a very good crew in there. We're very, I'm very blessed to have those sort of guys coming out of the middle stream and forward.
This is Brash. How are you?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, look, you've played in all different divisions, these lower divisions, over the past many years, right? What is it now about these divisions? What, if you can put your finger on it, what's improved in these divisions and these lower divisions now? Yeah,
it's funny you say that, mate. I was actually talking to the boys about it. Like the change in 10 years at local footy. Like everything seems to emulate down the line, even into the lower grades of local footy. So, that real run, defend, running both ways, running if you can't defend, the days of the burly full forward that sits in the square they're even done at local level. So, it's developed. It's like a mini AFL these days. If you can't run, you can't defend, then you're no good to anybody.
What caused the flick of the switch early in that second term? You seemed to break open the shackles to an extent, you individually, when the game was very flat probably in the first quarter and a bit. Is there something that just happened for you?
I think we're probably overusing the hand pass a little bit. We seem to be sort of passing the pressure a little bit, 4 or 5 hand passes. Once we sort of one hand pass, one kick in, we really put their back line under pressure. And I think we've got the guys down there that can really cause some headaches. And we've got some guys that have still got to come back in, like Bacaro and Co. And he's an absolute superstar. So, look, if we can get it in quick enough, we're going to put any back line under pressure.
We've got a handball on tape from you this afternoon, mate, so you must be happy about that.
I've copped a little bit of pressure over the journey, but, I try to remind the boys that a game a few years ago in the grand final, my first possession actually was a hand pass, surprisingly. So, so look, I've tried to get better at that. And, Gatesy and Gibbo and that, they drive a real hard ship and they're always asking for improvement, whether you're the youngest bloke or the oldest bloke on the list. So, we're really, this period is about earning the right to compete later in the year where we want to be. So, it's very enjoyable. Obviously, being playing in a strong team, but there's a long way to go.
Mate, we love watching South Belgrave. We love watching you. You're a good sport, and we like to have a bit of fun with you as well, but we also love watching you play football because you're an absolute class act on and off the field. Thanks for joining us once again. Enjoy the celebrations. Enjoy the break. Can't wait to see you boys play some more footy.
No, cheers, boys. Thank you.
Lee Odermatt joining us at ground level with Ben Warren Smith. 7 goals to his name. Look, you don't need to hand pass if you can kick it through the big sticks, and he does it pretty consistently.
Yeah, well, exactly. And look, I think, one of the things that he's done is that if you knew Lee, he's an outstanding cricketer. And I mean, he is outstanding. And he's given up the cricket and he's got better at the footy because of his age.
We'll get to the votes after the break. This has been the EFL Game Day match day coverage of the top of the table clash in Division 3 between Ferntree, Gully and South Belgrave. In the end, it was 30. South Belgrave by 91 points. Hope you enjoyed the coverage.
Clear.
SEN Footy streaming live and exclusively on the...
Do you guys need me to call anybody?
12, it's St Kilda.
Turns Jeremy Howe around, snaps from 20.
Okay, because I'm happy to dial them from here.
Company is at a...
Okay. Okay. Well, if you need me to, even if you just text them to me, and then if we're having trouble, I can get them up for you.
Local club.
Yeah, or even Damien will text them to me.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Tyre Power is Australia's biggest independent tyre retailer, and right now they're having Australia's biggest independent stock take sale, which means you have the power to save on Falcon tyres. Buy 3 and get 1 free on a huge range of Falcon passenger car tyres. That's buy 3 and get 1 free on selected Falcon tyres, but only at Tyre Power. See website for details. Tyre Power's biggest ever stock take sale is now on. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local owner operator.
The NBA playoffs.